Hello and welcome to the Horror Hangout, a podcast where film fans watch the best and worst horror movies of all time and talk about them. But sometimes we get out and about on the road. Where are we, Ben?
We are in Bournemouth.
Yep.
In Dorset?
Absolutely would, mate, to borrow someone else's joke. Yeah, we're having a lovely time already. As you can see if you're watching the video, it is a beautiful sunny day.
It's a glorious day. It's a sunny day. There's a big wheel over there. We might have a go on that later. Do you reckon?
Yeah, go up there. I wouldn't be against it. But you know what else, though? We're here primarily not to ride Bournemouth's big wheel, easy for me to say. We are here to celebrate. As you can see if you're watching, we've got the stickers on our mics and everything. We are here for Screams by the Sea, Ben.
Yeah. Shall I do a scream by the sea?
Go on, just a quick one.
That was more of a shout.
No, I reckon that's a scream.
That was more of that was a sexual one.
Yeah, you haven't got the upper octaves for it, but that's okay. I don't expect you to. So what we're here to cover all sorts here. We're going to be like a normal festival episode. We are going to be grabbing interviews with people who are behind and in front of the cameras, where we can sort out. The team behind Screams by the Sea have been very kind in making lots of arrangements for us. So you will find us in front of a media wall doing some interviews with people. They've even printed us a lovely schedule on the back here, which is far more organisation than I'm used to.
Incredible organisation. And yeah, usually we do this by the seat of our pants, by the pants of our seat. But we've got a schedule. We're on the media wall. We're covering everything officially. Obviously at Fright Fest, we cover everything officially, but we're still kind of roaming around like guerrilla film reporters. Not like Harambe. That's not what I meant by that. You know what I meant by that.
No, like the unsanctioned. We're like war correspondents out there.
Yeah, sometimes in WWE there's an unsanctioned match where one person's like not been cleared fit and able to have a wrestling match. And they bloody do it anyway.
Thanks for putting it in terms I can understand.
That's good. I'm glad. It's just for everyone out there to understand. Not that I'm insulting anyone's intelligence, of course, but
so we got lots to cover today. There are some films we've seen before, some films that will be new to us that are getting their first screenings that we'll have been able to catch so far, some familiar ones. So the first film up of the day is going to be Scarlet Blue, which you saw at Fright Fest, right, Ben?
Yeah, I did see that at Fright Fest, and we're going to have the filmmaker talking about that as well. It's a French film. It's a French film that's a bit sexy. Well, you wouldn't necessarily attribute... Well, actually, I would attribute sexy to horror, because it's all over the place in that genre. But I guess it's not quite a horror film. It's more of like a psychological thriller-esque thing. But yeah, we're going to be talking to the filmmaker about that.
Excellent. Well, I'll tell you what.
Excellent.
Why don't we go and do that right now?
Well, I'll tell you what we should do before we do that. How about we just have a little walk down this way and just have a look at some of the signage? What do you reckon about that?
Walk and talk. Let's do it.
Do you know, the reason that's good...
Watch the stairs, though.
The reason that's good, I've just taken the microphone away from Andy Conduit-Turner, just snatched it out of his hands. I don't know why I did that, but I'm just running on autopilot here.
You're making life difficult for yourself. Now I've got all the joys of being able to walk. I can see where I'm going. I'm not holding anything.
I kind of like that.
Life on hard mode, Ben.
I kind of like that. What I like about it is your gestures. I can see all these crazy gestures you do.
I can really, really good. Look over there. Over here. Me? All these gestures you can see here.
This is mainly for the people who are watching the video, of course. If you're audioing it, then maybe go and check out the video on YouTube, because there's lots going on. Let's immediately have a look at this lovely pull-up banner.
Here we are by the official Screams by the Sea signage. Ben here is going to be right next to it.
Get it nice and central.
And this is the second year of Screams by the Sea. We got behind them and spoke to the team. Radi has been on the show before, one of the directors of the festival here. This is their second year. Nice to see a nice crowd turning up for this as well. Not so crowded as that London life. Got a nice vibe to it. Everyone seems to be in good spirits this morning.
Good spirits. The weather's lovely. There's a slight chill in the air, but we're fully in spring now, so short sleeves are out. And it feels good, you know. It feels good. It feels exciting. And yeah, we've got lots to do. We're going to be involving ourselves. I say involving ourselves. We haven't forced our way in. We've been asked to present the screenplay competition and the results of that. So we will be doing that between films a little bit later on. A chance for us, probably the first chance for us to get up on stage and go. Well, I say on stage. I don't know if it's going to be a stage. It could just be a flat surface, you know, but it still counts.
Not to be put on a pedestal, mate. It means to just get people to look at me while I'm talking. That's plenty.
We like that. It's our egos talking. But yeah, the first time I guess we'll be able to be like Horror Hangout in front of live audience as such, talking directly to film fans about films. So I'm looking forward to it.
So watch Ramood either being sky high or rock bottom, depending on how that goes a bit later, everybody.
Yeah. There will be no middle ground. It will be rock bottom or it'll be sky high. Shall we get ourselves onto the media wall maybe and just
Yeah, let's get ourselves on there. Music sting, and then straight to it, shall we?
Exactly. Let's do that. Music sting, probably way louder than anticipated for anyone. Jump scare.
I am here, Screams by the Sea, with program director. What title would you like, Radi?
Festival director, organizer, the madman that drags everybody out of their house to watch great films.
The madman that drags everyone out of the house to watch great films, Radi Nikolov.
That works great on a business card.
Yeah. So, Radi, you're here. People have arrived. They're in the auditorium, ready for their first movie. They've started their first movie, right? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling amazing. People have traveled from so many different places, traveled outside of the town, outside of the country. People coming from Scotland, from the States, from the Renew Islands. I'm so thrilled for people just coming and showing up. It's absolutely fantastic.
And we've got a lovely day for it as well, haven't we? Like a lovely spring daytime. I've been enjoying the food stands outside. We're going to have a great day over here. Is there anything you're particularly excited to see an audience experiencing at the event today?
Anything particularly excited? I'm excited for the award ceremony, of course, because I want to hear what our audience really thinks is the best movie in our program, because we all love them so much. Every single movie in that program is the best movie, to our opinion, but I want to know what the audience says. And that moment of finding out what they voted, I think is probably going to be the best. I would love to hear the script pitches. They're always very, very exciting. We are giving out a funded production deal to the winning screenplay, so it's a fantastic opportunity that doesn't exist very readily everywhere. And I'm really thrilled that we can get to give that out, but also give an opportunity to filmmakers and writers to pitch and train that muscle that is so hard in the industry to train. This usually happens in closed doors and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I love the event you're doing here. So not only the opportunity to pick something up and create something, but I think for anyone who's aspiring in any creative field, just the opportunity to pitch something and get that feedback from those, a panel of experts. Can you tell me a little bit about your panel on your judging panel today?
Yeah, totally. We've got some fantastic filmmakers. We've got producers, directors, and a doctor. We've got Dr. Max Guy, we've got Peter Stanley Ward, and Mel Morley are going to be our judges. They're absolutely fantastic in their fields. They all work in and around the genre of horror. And I'm very thrilled. They've already read the scripts. They're really excited to speak with our writers today.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that event ourselves as well. Ben and I will be nudging people along while we're there. So excited to be doing that as well. Nice to be a part of it. So, I mean, I guess the biggest question, what are you drinking at the end of the day?
Listen, I'm a red wine guy. I'm notoriously famous for going into microbreweries. It's so what wines you got? I've got a red. Thank you. I'll have a glass of red if it's going. And yeah.
Well, you're certainly earning it today. I will leave you to get a few minutes apiece before you're back on stage again, Radi, but we will no doubt catch you up throughout the day as well. We'll catch you later. Good luck out there.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm here with the director, the star, the writer, the costume designer of Scarlet Blue, Aurélia Mengin. Welcome. Hello. And the film is just screened at Screams by the Sea. An early morning screening.
Oh my God, too early for me, yes.
Too early for you. So I heard you say that you've never been to a screening of this film in the morning. It's only been at nighttime.
Never. But you have to know that Scarlet Blue has been many times screening for the opening of many festivals. So it's often the first movies, but usually in the night, But I was very happy because the cinema was full. So people come at 9 a.m. to see Scarlet Blue. Very strange movie, for the breakfast,
A lovely breakfast movie. Would you say it's a great movie to start the day with?
I think it's a great movie because, the editing is quite slow. So maybe it's very poetic and it's very crazy movie. So I think now people is good for see all the movie. I think they are in the lost land, they are lost in my movie, so now they can understood all the movie would be screened tonight
What is it like watching a movie with a live audience? Do you find yourself looking around at everybody to take in what their reactions are?
You know, I always inside the cinema, the theater, during the screening. I love being inside the audience and receive the feeling. Sometimes people are, lost. Sometimes people lost about one of the character played by Emmanuel Bonham, the bad boy. People lost about him. I was very happy, and I love being inside, deep inside the feeling of the audience. I think it's a good feeling for the director to get, people how people get the film.
Yeah.
For me, it's very important to be there. Yes,
Absolutely.
I'm never scared about.
You're never scared?
No.
Not even the first time it was screened?
No.
Excited?
Because I do all my best, and I think I give all my soul in this film. So if people like it, if it's okay. If people don't like, it's also okay for me. I'm proud to be honest with the movies. It was my first objective when I made this movie to be very, very honest inside, and I think it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like a very honest film. I think, a film that, pardon the pun, but really bears the soul.
Yeah.
That kind of film.
Yes, and the story is about a really good friend of me who suffers from schizophrenia since I'm a little girl. So all the things you see in the movie is true, but I make it in my poetic vision. But the thing you see inside, unfortunately, my best friend is schizophrenic, and so she lives this kind of situation very strong. And I'm so happy because I'm not alone here. I'm with my partner Nikolov, who makes the sound. He don't want to speak, but he do a beautiful sound design and the music, and he shares the music with my brother. The classic music is made by my brother Pablo Mengin, and all the other sound is made by Nicolas Luque, and I'm so happy to be with him here because I make a so long trip from Errington to arrive here.
Yeah, a long way to come, all the way to Bournemouth, isn't it, to see it? But it's definitely worth it, isn't it?
Yes, 12 hours by flight from Réunion. Réunion is a very, very, very small French island next to Madagascar. So I took the flight during 12 hours to Paris. Then I took a train to Paris to London, then a train to London to Bournemouth, So I'm exhausted, but so happy to be there.
Absolutely exhausted. A long trip. And also, your film's on at 9:30 a.m. I'm assuming you arrived yesterday.
Yes, I arrived yesterday night, and the city is so beautiful. And it's the first time that I'm here, and the first time that I saw the sea in England, and it's so different from the sea from my islands. How I'm dressed. It's so cold here. Yes, it's the first time I see a sea in the winter. Winter sea.
Surprising.
Yeah.
The British Sea looks all right. Looks quite nice. You wouldn't believe it, would you? Can we briefly, Aurélia? Can we talk about hats? Okay, not just literal hats, but metaphorical hats as well. Starting with literal hats, you've always got great headwear. I've seen you at a few festivals. I've seen you at Fright Fest. We didn't meet at Fright Fest, unfortunately.
Oh, you were in Fright Fest?
We were at Fright Fest. That's actually where I saw Scarlet Blue for the first time.
No way!
I was there. Radi was there. So the screening he was talking about, he was behind me. I didn't know he was there.
Oh my God!
And as we were exiting the film, we just locked eyes, me and Radi, and just were talking about what we just seen. We were amazed by it. But in terms of hats, you had a great hat on at Fright Fest. First question.
Yes.
Have you ever been in the room where you've not got the best hat on?
Oh, sorry, I don't get it.
So basically, your hats are so good that they're the centerpiece. Do you feel like they're the centerpiece of your outfit most of the time?
Oh, I don't know. For me, I do my best.
And your best is absolutely fantastic, may I say. But talking about metaphorical hats, you wear a lot of hats as the filmmaker. You're a writer, you're a director, you're a costume designer, you're a star.
Yeah.
What is it like balancing all of those roles when you're making a film like that? Is it difficult? Do you feel like it was too much to take on, or do you feel like you would do that for future films as well?
I make a film since 20 years, and I always begin I made 9 short before, and I was a producer for my short. I also play in it. I also write, making the costume and the setting. So, for me, it's normal because I come from contemporary art. So I grew up with my father play in the movie. He passed away 2 years ago. He was very sick during the movie. He's a guy with a beard in the gas station with a blue, uniform. Is my father, and I grew up with him in Reunion, and he learned me to make everything. He always say you have to make everything when you don't have a lot of money. I never had a lot of money, so I had to work a lot. And for me, it's very easy to have all these different, working, making the scripts and directing and playing on it. It's very easy because it's like I have all the vision of the movies inside me. It's very easy, and I love working a lot. I need to work all the time because I feel life can be a lot of boring, and so I had I need to make so lot of adventure and working, and I love challenging myself all the time, and I never afraid to working hard, and and I don't care about what people think, because in France, playing in a movie, writing the movie, produce the movie sometime, and people say you make too many things, but you don't know. But I have created 15 years ago my first festival in Reunion called Même Pas Peur. It was in February. We make the 15th edition last February. I'm the founder and the director, and I organize this festival with my composer Nikolov since 15 years. And it's a lot of work too. And I love making many things. I don't care about what people can think.
A lot of work, but obviously a lot of experience, many years experience in the industry as well. Talking of which, what are you working on next? Are you working on a project currently?
Yes, I have finished my third script. The title in French is Le Soupir des Papillons. I think in English is The Butterfly Breath. I think it's the title in English is The Butterfly Breath. And I'm looking for a producer to help me to produce the film. And I hope I will find a producer soon and go on it and making my son movie. I want to make it. Yes, really want.
Very, very exciting. Well, congratulations on the movie again, Aurélia. It's been a pleasure to chat to you. Enjoy the rest of your time at Screens by the Sea and in Bournemouth. Enjoying the British seaside.
Yes, and can I just say that I want to thank Great Britain and all the festival from England, because, they love my work. They love my first work, my first feature film for Nazis a few years ago. I traveled in many England film festival, and then now with Scarlet Blue. And I want to thank Great Britain and all the festival from England, because in France, people don't screen my film. So, for me, it's very amazing to be there. And I want also to thank Fright-Fest, because thanks to Fright-Fest, I'm here. And we were screening in Derby a few months ago. We go to Manchester in June. So, it's very amazing. And England, for me, you are the best for this kind of movie. So thank you. And thank you to you for this interview.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for taking the time to speak to me. And see you very soon.
Yeah, hope so. Thank you.
We're here on the stage area where there have been some discussions about film funding. Today there's been some panels here. We have taken a moment while there's nobody on the stage to come here to get your TED Talk on 1990s classic Earthworm Jim and how that has contributed to the horror scene.
It's got like a bloody worm man in a
It's a body horror classic then, yes?
It's a body horror classic, yeah. We've just accosted this area because it looked pretty cool. There's loads of seats behind us. A bit of...
Yes, question for you.
There's no one there. And I can see that there's no one there, but I still looked. Andy's good at this sort of stuff. There's also been talks and various industry professionals chatting about things to do with horror movies. We missed it, unfortunately, because we went and had a sausage roll.
We did, and there is a sorrow in me that I missed that talk, but at the same time, sustenance and self-care is important.
Sustenance and self-care is important. Of course, we've had a couple of interviews. We've chatted to people so far. We've been enjoying ourselves walking around Bournemouth in the lovely sunshine, and there's a chill in the air. But at the same time, what a lovely, would you say, spring day?
Absolutely, I would. A lovely, lovely spring day. It's not all been fun and games and sausage rolls and an ice cream though. There's been you've just at this moment you finished a conversation with some of the team behind Scarlet Blue. You enjoy? I mean, I'm still yet to see that one, Ben. So actually, I could turn to you for your review. What prevailing memories do you still have from that movie? I know people may have heard you talk about it on our Fright Fest episode, but has that percolated over time?
I can't remember exactly what I said about it at Fright Fest. I don't want to risk contradicting myself because I'd be deeply unhappy if there was a record of me saying something was good and then saying something was bad somewhere. But I'm not going to say that either way. Talking to Aurélia was lovely, wasn't it?
Yeah, I can see, like, obviously a really passionate filmmaker, someone who's really comfortable wearing the multiple hats of many duties in an independent film. And I certainly think in this year where we've perhaps dived even more into the production side of independent film, understanding the challenges and the effort it takes to make a film like this.
Yes, and what I was trying to say to her, like, multiple hats in the interview, which perhaps maybe she misunderstood what I meant. That's my fault. I perhaps didn't word it correctly. She's always wearing lovely hats. That was a lovely... What kind of hat was that? I want to say Russian/bear hunter.
I've never claimed to be notorious global fashion hat expert, Gokwan. Ben, I couldn't comment. It does.
Gokwan,
that's right. I don't know anyone who knows more about hats than he does, and he unfortunately is not here. So I couldn't comment on what the hat was. But what I can tell you is I don't know about the terminology. Not a hatter, but I do know what I like, and I liked that hat.
I mean, I wasn't trying to make fun. That's the thing. I was genuinely trying to say that you have always, whenever she's in a room, and I've only been in the same room as her, I want to say twice, both times she had the most striking headwear. And I was just complimenting her on that, if anything. And I think the question, or maybe I worded it wrong, but I wanted to know, have you ever been in a room where someone's got a better hat than you? Because I feel like the answer to that is no, I would say.
I'd agree. There was maybe one challenger I mentioned. Don't know if she was in that room, though, of course. That was, of course, when we went to the premiere of Rage and Grace at Fright Fest a couple of years ago. That gentleman had a very excellent hat.
Do you do hats at all?
My hair is a kind of hat.
Well, it kind of is, but it's not really. Because I reckon, I can imagine you in a... I bet you at the age of like 17, 18, I bet you had a trilby once or twice.
Never. No.
Straight up, no.
No, not even thinking about that much. I think the thing is you know it is, folks. Listen, relatable content for you here. You know, you've been wearing a hat too long, and then it still feels like you're wearing it after you take it off.
That's a weird ghost hat. But I guess the answer to Scarlet Blue, even it's been a few months since I've seen it, obviously, but I think it was quite an early screening at Fright Fest as well. So, like, as a morning film, like, it is pretty hard. It is pretty heavy going as a morning film, you know. Not that I watch many films in the morning. I guess Kids Club at the cinema when I had a younger daughter. We used to go and watch like Hotel Transylvania or Peppa Pig or something. That's the only time my brain is probably set for watching a film. Scarlet Blue, very different to either of those films I just mentioned. Very psychological, very sexy, very... it's got a lot of colour to it. Cinematography is very bright. It kind of reminded me in a way, like a little bit of like a bit Lynchian in places, but there probably are a few more comparisons I can make. I'm thinking of one, but very dreamlike as well. Very dreamlike. So, what's real? What's really happening? Very lots of discussion about addiction, mental health, sexy time. You know, all things that affect most of us every single day. Well, I'm not claiming that I'm an addict and an addict, schizophrenic, and a sexy time enjoyer. I'm some of those, but you know, pick out which one for you is most relevant. But yeah, a really competently made film, and I think the way Aurélia described it as being like a passion project and something that she felt like it was an honest film, or I think I said it was a very bold sort of, I guess, brave film as well. You know, to really put it all out there in terms of everything that's like physical and metaphorical in that world is interesting, and you know. not a straight up horror. There aren't any like particular scares, you wouldn't say, but it's just the true horror of what it means to be in air in your own head at all times. That can be the true horror, can't it, Andy? I mean, I don't know what's going on in your head most days. I reckon it's pretty pleasant in there.
Mostly just the Tetris music, where blocks fall down and I play it in my head mentally. But apart from that, it's been a lovely day already. Like the crowd here are so nice. I think film people who are truly here to enjoy the films that are on here. Neil has been up on stage, last week's guest already for a panel talking about production and marketing in the world of horror. We're going to try and catch him in just a moment to have a little chat, see how it went for him, and then how you feeling, Ben, as our moment on stage draws closer?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about it. But that might change by the time we actually get up there and I start getting the old wobbly legs. That'll be fine. We're just going to do our thing, aren't we? We're not going to rehearse. We're not going to do anything too crazy. But so yeah, we're presenting the screenplay competition. Did I say that already? So yeah, that should be pretty fun. We'll record it though, so we can share those moments on our social media as well, right?
Sounds good. For now, should we go and see who else we've got to interview?
Let's do it. See you in a bit.
Hello again. A familiar face for those who keep up with our comings and goings the rest of the time. I am back with, at the time of recording, last week's guest, Neil Fraser, once again, but this time not on Zoom. How you doing, Neil?
Yeah, I'm all good. You're a lot taller than you were on Zoom, so
at least double the height I was on Zoom. A giant in some circumstances.
it's nice to meet you both in the flesh, so to speak.
Yeah. How has it been so far today? You've already been on stage giving your talk, right?
Yep, we did the marketing strategy. A lot of that was above my pay grade. So we had the two brains, and I'm just there to paint pictures.
They can't sell anything when they haven't got excellent art, Neil.
But that was the point I was trying to get across. Like, please come and see me. It's been busy. I haven't had much chance to actually come sit down, meet a few people, had a few good chats. So hopefully we'll be a few bits of work coming out of it.
That is always good news to hear. I mean, we are standing here, for those of you on the benefit of the video, by Neil's table that is, I'm going to say, awash with excellent looking work. I mean, Ben, you're a mobile kind of man. Have a little sweep across here. The Descent poster that you are so fond of. It's looking pretty good, if I do say so. Major clips. That's all right. Oh no, we're in 4K as well. The pause will be off the charts. So you say you've met some nice new people. Is that which of your pieces do you reckon is getting the most attention from the crowd today?
Descent and Dog Soldiers. It's always the same. People seem to be very drawn to those films. So a lot of people say, "Oh, we don't see many poster versions of those films." So I'm quite lucky that I've got a few copies. So yeah. But other than that, I mean, I've sold a couple of things, few postcards.
I mean, I can reveal to you while we're together as well that I have not yet cracked the mystery of the 1991 or 1998 film that you're possibly doing the redesign for. But I will crack this case one way or another. It's going to happen, everybody. I'm going to work this out. I won't be able to tell you because NDAs, I would never jeopardize that. But I'll know.
To be fair, I think by the time we worked it out, I think the NDA will have gone. It would be a bro. I will pay £5 to a charity of your choice if you do crack it.
So what you're saying, Neil, is that if I work this out, I'm helping charity.
Exactly.
We'll get to it, guys. For now, though, Neil, have you had a chance to watch any of the movies while you're here?
No, unfortunately, I very rarely get a chance to actually leave the station. I have a helper, but she's gone shopping. So I'm going to be chained to the desk. When the movies are on, I get a chance to have a wander out because it's quiet, but that doesn't include going to watch the film, annoyingly. But hopefully I'll catch some on the screeners in the near future.
Well, in that case, we'll do our best to keep you posted. But for now, bearing in mind you're your helper has disappeared. We better let you get to some work.
Thank you. Have a good day, fellas.
Thanks. Bye for now.
Wow, look at that. That's magic. Cutting straight to the studio. Can you believe it?
Yeah, we're back at Horror Hangout Towers, everybody. When I say towers, there are two different ones in different parts of the country, like in that Lord of the Rings film.
There's a horrible Sauron eye at the top of my house as well, that's linked directly to yours. I said house, not. It sounded like I said ass. At the top of my arse, there's a Sauron's eye. Some people call it that. So yeah, what we're gonna do is just like between interviews. This is going to be like a review section. We did kind of want to do it while we were at Screens by the Sea, but we had so much bloody fun.
We had to go to the bloody pub afterwards, didn't we?
We had to go to the pub and
Hard
socialise.
life.
Then the clocks went forward, right?
So we lost an hour.
Lost an hour.
If your grandma's in, that's an hour gone with her from that.
Yeah, that's an hour gone. I aged. But it actually happened where I looked at the time at 1 o'clock and I saw it turn to 2 and I was, well, I don't think I actually saw it, but I went to bed and then it was 2. So I was like, oh God, later than I thought.
What's happening?
But no, it's bloody clocks.
We had a lovely time there, didn't we? But now here we are in the future, passing back and forth between our past selves to
Which is
do
weird.
some reviews and
Reviews,
interviews.
isn't it? Do some reviews. So, yeah. So after Scarlet Blue, the first film of the day at Screens by the Sea, we watched a film called Suicide for Beginners. Don't know how you could possibly be an expert, a pro at suicide, because it's kind of like a one and done situation. Of course, there are situations where it doesn't quite work out, but you know, it's not something you really want to become experienced in. Very serious. This isn't a very serious film, though, of course.
No.
I can give you a synopsis and I'll give you the director. So directed by Craig Thieman, that's right, isn't it?
It is.
It
And we
is
met
right.
him.
And we met him, and we're gonna, after this review, we'll pass directly over to the old Thieman himself and you. So, writing the perfect suicide note isn't easy. Murdering a garage full of people is also pretty hard, but getting your victims to like you while you kill them, that's the tricky part. Suicide for Beginners, starring Nate Panning, Julia Lehman, Sarah Tomko, Sid Haig, and Mr. Corey Feldman. This is a horror comedy, isn't it?
It is, and it just doesn't take itself seriously at all. It is a really, really slapstick comedy. Like, actually, not just a slapstick comedy. That is a large element of it, but there is, you know, it has the spoken humor to go with. I would say the slapstick element of it kind of escalates as the movie goes on, till we get like a really fun scene in the latter third, which is, I think, Craig even describes as much a bit of a spree, a rampage that happens in the set, and that was probably my highlight of the movie. That was a lot of fun, that little bit.
Yeah. It's all set like at daytime in a suburban sort of in suburbia, American suburbia. Is the character like a bit of an incel maybe? Because it does seem like he's like, oh, you got a bloody girlfriend, have you? I'm fuming about that. Be dead.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna.
It's kind of like with a little bit of like one of those characters who feels like the world owes him something. It's been very unfair. It's put him in the position that he's in, so he's going to take a lot of people out with him in various over the top ways.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who they are, and you know, maybe they wanted to help you as a character. You don't care. He's having you. Obviously, horror icon Sid Haig is in it, and pop culture icon Corey Feldman is in it as well, playing a character called Randy. He gets to do quite a lot of stuff. In a pool with some flat pack furniture.
And a nail gun.
And a nail gun as well. Obviously, it must have been one of Sid Haig's final roles. Well, I don't know if it was his final role or if it was one of his final roles.
I know they were producing this movie for quite a long time, right? They filmed it, and then what with pandemics and so on, that was it was in post for a little while.
Oh, okay. I see. That might have been it then. But yeah, it's a very silly film, I guess. It doesn't take itself very seriously. Yeah, I mean, I'm just checking out now. It looks like Sid Haig passed away in 2019. So, yeah, it must have been in the making for quite a while. Yeah, it doesn't take itself very seriously. I guess the violence is kind of, I wouldn't necessarily say gratuitous. It's a bit kind of over the top, and it's not like super gory, but the violence is there, isn't it?
Yeah. I would say if you are, if you like your over-the-top horror comedies, I think things like Deadstream were in your wheelhouse. I think you'll enjoy this.
Yeah, yeah, I think you will, and it is, it's pretty funny.
And the audience at the festival seemed to respond really well. Lots of like smiles and laughs as they were coming out of the cinema after the film as well.
Yeah, yeah. I guess it is kind of like, despite the fact it's a funny film and it's I don't want to say a feel good film because with a title like that and with what it is one of those films you're supposed to go in and have a good time. The first character bit of a like goes with the nice guy trope a little bit and seems to just be there to punish these particular characters because his life's gone wrong. But yeah, it's I guess it's a single location sort of film as well, just in this house, and I guess it goes to prove if you think someone's having a tough time, don't bother trying to help them because they might.
If you take a cake round their house, you might get sucked into this horrible plan they've got on.
You might exactly. I think the supporting cast were good, like the pizza delivery guy,
I think
and
he was one of my favorites, and his girlfriend. Those two as a pair were
and his
really, really
girlfriend.
fun.
Yeah, I don't know about the main character of the person who'd been captured. I think her name's Abigail, potentially. I don't know if we quite got enough. I don't think it's Abigail, actually. Now I'm looking. I think it might be Mia. Yeah, Mia, that's right. I don't think we quite get enough from her to kind of, yeah, as essentially a final girl in this particular scenario. She doesn't get to do all of that much, does she? But yeah, in terms of horror comedies, it's fun. It's fun enough, isn't it? Um, yeah. Do you agree with
Yeah,
me
I think it's a good laugh. I think you'll enjoy it if you like that kind of slapstick comedy. We'll talk about another horror comedy a little bit later, which I think not just zeroing in on national stereotypes, I think is more geared towards our taste, perhaps. If it
there?
was 50-50 shot, you got to choose one. But I think everything we saw is worth a watch when
Yeah,
it comes
I
out.
guess it's darkly comedic. It's got some gory kills. It's got some moments that wouldn't be amiss on You've Been Framed. But, those
And
bit. Sorry, go on.
as you hear Craig saying when we talk, at this point, I'm going to scoop him by saying it before I go to myself in the past where he said it.
Confusing.
It's available now in the UK.
It is available now.
It is streaming now on Prime, I believe, and possibly
Yeah.
other places where you can buy
Yeah.
things on VOD.
Check it out. But yeah, I guess some bits that kind of wouldn't be out of place in You've Been Framed. You could get £200 or dollars, as this film's set in America, for something going terribly wrong. There's always a moment in You've Been Framed where you go, ha 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 ha, the canned laughter makes it okay, but that person might be dead. Just like get obliterated by something, or just
Get run over by a big bale of hay.
yeah. You're done for if that happens, right? If you get run over by it, if you end up on it and you go flying, you might be all right. We've seen that video. If you go
Yeah,
under
he's
it,
just winded.
how much are they supposed to weigh? A lot.
Oh, loads.
It's all packed in, isn't it?
It smash you to custard.
It would absolutely flatten you. You'd be like a naan bread of a man. I reckon.
Like tongues under a hammer.
Exactly like tongues after a hammer. We will get to some more tongue discussion very soon. But yeah, shall we hand over to the director of this film, the Suicide for Beginners director, Craig Thieman, and find out what he's got to say about the making of it?
Yeah, let me say back to Bournemouth and past Andy and Craig.
We are now here, straight after the screening here at Streams by the Sea of Suicide for Beginners with director Craig Thieman. Craig, how you doing?
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for talking to me.
Well, thank you for coming along. So, how was it seeing this with an audience just now? Is this your first UK screening?
It's not my first UK screening, but like this was a really solid experience. I love showing it to a group of people, and it plays best with a group of people. You can feel the reactions bounce off of each other as people watch it, because yeah, we have a variety of jokes. We have really dumb jokes and some smarter ones, and people laugh at different things, and it's fun to hear that, like in the field of the audience,
So we see horror and comedy play with each other so often. What attracted you to this as of a subgenre?
I'm a big fan of comedy, and I just think it's fun to like pull your audience in a certain direction, just to like just to whack them and spin them around in another direction. Things get super tense, and they're getting like a little freaked out, and they don't know what's going to happen. And that's the perfect time to hit them with something really stupid and funny. And I don't know. I find it hilarious. So it's really for my own amusement.
If you can't make things entertain yourself first, well, what are you doing it for, right? So you have a wonderful cast, some notable faces that many people will be familiar with, like Sid and Corey appear in the film. How did they join the project? Are these names you always wanted to work with, or did they just turn up as you were in production, as you were building the film?
Definitely people I always wanted to work with. And I ran into Sid at a horror film festival, and I waited in line, and I asked him. I was like, I got up there, this long line, and I was like, how do I get you to be in my movie? And he's like, well, pitch it. I was like, so I give him a quick pitch, and then he gave me his card, and he goes, yeah, I do dark comedies. I was like, I know you'd be perfect. And I said it with a lot of enthusiasm because I had to have a couple beers in order to do that. And then, but yeah, he was really into the script once I sent it to him. And we had Sid, and that was very exciting. It was unbelievable because he's so good in that role, and it's so I don't know, like that's his wheelhouse. That's where he lives, and then he did an immaculate job. And he always adds these like little quirky things to all of his little bits, like his screams that he does, and a couple extra lines. He knows how to make it just a little weirder, right? But still like in character, and he grabs the audience attention and pulls it away.
And I think you find a nice balance in the film between your spoken comedy, the dialogue you put into the film, and then you get some mad slapstick, over-the-top physical comedy as well. Do you have a preference, or is the one that's more difficult to film? What do you gravitate to the most as an audience member, maybe?
I mean, my favorite part is the murder montage. It was the most fun to film, but I would say it's physical comedy. But I like shaking it up so people don't know what's going to come next.
I can absolutely agree. No spoilers you'll get from us here, but that murder montage in like the back third of the film, it's so much fun.
Yeah. No, it was a blast, and being lucky enough to have Corey come in at the end of that. I mean, it was just I always wanted a cameo for that role, and he's long. His comic timing is just so brilliant on every take. So it was a lot of fun working with them. I got to be in the pool with them while. Oh, I don't want no spoilers. Never mind. You don't need to hear that. Watch the movie.
You're just in a pool with him, incidentally.
Just in a pool with him, just hanging out like me and Corey do.
So right now you're on the festival circuit, I guess. If you're listening to this at home, are we looking at distribution quite soon? Do you know where people will be able to see it in the future?
We do have some distribution now in the UK. We are on Amazon Prime. If you come watch the movie, give us a review. We're a small independent film, so the more people commenting, the more people reviewing it helps us out and lets people know our film exists. So
and this is available right now, right?
It's available right now. We're still looking for international distribution, but yeah.
So this is straight available. You can finish watching with us here. You go straight and watch that if you feel so inclined. So Craig, what is next for you? Sticking with horror comedy?
No, actually, it's sticking with comedy. I have an action comedy I'm working with. I do have one more horror comedy that's going to come out, but it's a web series with some of the same actors from Suicide for Beginners. It's a cooking show with a high body count. It's like Martha Stewart meets Evil Dead 2, I say. And,
what a wonderful pitch!
Yeah, but that should come out soon. It's quite violent for a cooking show, I think.
Incredible. And then you're over here. Are you able to stay and watch some more films for the rest of the day, or are you off into the sunset?
Oh, I'll be here all day. I'm gonna have a good time. Meet all these cool artists, and chill.
Incredible. In that case, then, Craig, you enjoy the rest of your day. I will see you at the bar later.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah,
thank you so much.
Next up is a film called The Daemon, which actually did screen at Fright Fest. 2024 in London. We did speak to some of the guys at the event, and we had a little look at some of the practical effects that they had there. They had a face with a bloody hole in it and a lovely tickly beard.
Caved in, demony, teethy face
A
instead of where his
caved-in,
face would be.
demony, teethy face. And that was just me looking in the bloody mirror. Again.
It's a rough time at Fright Fest. 5 days. It's a long time, isn't it?
To be fair, I felt pretty tired after Screams by the Sea, I say, in the middle of the episode, talking about Screams by the Sea when we haven't got to the end of the episode of Screams by the Sea. But I felt pretty tired after that one day.
Spoilers for the end.
Yeah.
Ben was tired by the time
Ben
we
was
got to the end.
tired, he'd done a big yawn. So, The Daemon is directed by Matt Davino and David Michael Yo. It concerns the Lovecraftian slow burn follows a family attempting to reconcile past traumas, only to have demons greater than their own pull them deeper into the darkness. Can they be spared from the clutches of the demon, or will they succumb to its sinister embrace? Did you succumb to its sinister embrace, Andy Conduit-Turner?
Succumb is a very strong word, but I did enjoy the film about the demon. I am okay. I've not been swept off into the sea by any sort of eldritch horrors. Don't worry about it.
No? Okay. Well, we were on the coast as well.
A very good film to have on at the seaside, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I was aware of how close the sea was. I felt its pull. I felt like
if you heard its tendrils calling up to you, you could have been.
I could have been. And it did look lovely as well. I don't think it looked warm in there in the sea in Bournemouth, but it did look lovely, And we discussed the nearest coast to me here in Bristol is a place called Weston-super-Mare. Some people refer to this place as Weston-super-Mud, and you can imagine why. Can you imagine why?
Because you'll go in there and you walk up to someone covered in sludge and say, "Oi."
Covered in sludge. And you've been to Weston-super-Mare as well, haven't you? I asked you.
Yeah, I like Weston-super-Mare.
Why don't you bloody move there then, mate?
So I live here now, all right? But I would have.
Because I bloody live here now.
If circumstances had turned out entirely differently, I'd quite happily live at Weston-super-Mare.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear it. So the Daemon, I think, is at its best when it really leans into these practical effects. I think that is the time when I was really drawn in by this film. I feel like the human story, whilst there is obviously something very complex going on, and there's a lot of sort of discussion about mental well-being and various things like that. I think initially I was a bit like I can't quite work out what the relationship between these characters are and why everybody's kind of banding together to essentially help a person who doesn't seem to want help. It seems like a bit of a weird connection. It's kind of like, is it the boyfriend of a woman, and he brings her.
It's two couples effectively.
Two couples eventually, isn't it? Yes.
And they're connected by a family connection. So I think the girlfriend of the man who has gone off to this cabin following his father's death alone. I think it's her brother and his partner.
So even by describing it, then it's slightly complex. I feel like if it was just simplified slightly, I think I might.
Two couples with one familial bond linking them together.
You've simplified it.
Taking a second run at that.
Obviously, there's a character as well who is a trauma and grief counselor, and one of her clients appears,
kind of becomes a memory that haunts her.
And we described it as goes into a world that looks a little bit like the Linkin Park music video In the End.
The horrible future at the end of the time travel when everyone's a big crab and everything's all red.
yeah, exactly. Everyone's a bloody What's that Lee Pace movie as well, where he's like I want to say like he looks a bit like a matador. What is that film? I was trying to think about it the other day. We'll come back to it. I can kind of remember it. But
give that a Googs while I explain what
it's called The Fall. It's called The Fall. I found it now. Yeah, kind of reminded me of that as well. In these dream sequences, that sort of cinematography, the otherworldly, almost like there was like an exotic nature to it. I guess it's with the red sky at night, shepherd's delight, etc.
Red sky at the seaside, demons Christmas. Watch out.
Red sky at the seaside, eldritch horror coming out of the ocean to cave your face in.
Yeah, I like kind of the unknowable, all vast monstrosities we get at parts of this movie. I like the practical effects that you mentioned.
Yeah.
One bit made me think particularly horrible. There is a section when one of our characters almost gets kind of encased in a horrible slimy cocoon.
A bit like Fire in the Sky, that bit was, wasn't it? With like
Yeah, I don't like that.
a skin cocoon with all these veins in it just started engorging someone. Engorging?
Yeah, it's like you've jumped into a bowl of lovely, rich, hot Heinz cream of tomato soup, but then
Oh,
you've stayed under just as it's gone cold and a skin has come on the top. And then
tomato
you're like,
soup. Chicken. Gotta be chicken, isn't it? The colour it was.
oh, in that sense, but I don't know if chicken soup
Okay.
forms a skin.
I reckon it does. I reckon
I'm
chicken
only aware of a skin forming on tomato
I
soup.
reckon chicken skin. I reckon chicken soup's more likely to form a skin just because of it's something about the old viscous nature of it. I know.
Oh, this is when we find out I've never let a soup go cold.
Never let a soup go cold. Only eat it at scalding hot temperature.
Nah, I'm chucking my bread in there straight away. It just becomes little little carby sponges of,
Yeah.
of the flavour of soup.
Where'd you stand on the crouton?
Strongly positive, right behind it.
Strong positive. I love I love a crouton. They make a soup a little bit more of an event, don't they? I always find a soup a little bit of a,
So if you've got a bit of a spicy soup, you've got a mulligatawny. What you want to do, Ben and listeners, is get out some nachos, just crunch them into your fist, and then let them sprinkle over there.
This is the behaviour of an absolute madman. This is a Heston Blumenthal move, isn't it?
Nah.
Nah, I got school. So so this film I would say is at its best when we've got the Eldritch horrors on screen. I feel like when they are not on screen, I'm kind of just waiting around for the next bit. I think the effect of Hole in the Face Man, Hole in the Face Man, is good. I feel like it didn't look. I think anytime it happens and you feel like it's a CGI effect, like the transformation of it, doesn't look as good as it does practically. So I think I'm glad they leaned into that more so.
Big into the practical effects on this. I think they can be applauded. And if you like, because I know there's a subset of horror fans out there. If you like an unknowable horror, if you like a color out of space, if you like a Game of Eternal Darkness up here, then have a go at this. I think you'll get something out of this.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. I agree. Yeah, and then obviously there's a finale as well, a very sort of a grand scale finale with
Really ambitious finale.
Oh yeah, definitely. Absolutely, really ambitious, and I think for the most part it is a success. And again, I think the audiences lapped this one up as well.
Yeah, I would say maybe with the exception of maybe some of the shorts, I would say for the selection we saw across the board here, probably the one that was the purest horror film. Would you say? Would you agree?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because I think Screams by the Sea definitely felt like a genre film festival. Obviously we get kind of like
we get some horror comedy, we get some sci-fi comedy, we get
sci-fi
some
comedy, psychological stuff,
some thrillers, the short films, and then I'd say if you only had like one little flag that said horror, you would choose this particular pie to stick it in.
So I guess it was the jewel in the crown of horror. Not to say it was my favorite film at the festival, but it was the one that would have gone down with horror fans probably the best, I would say.
So we're gonna have to make our picks at the end. Start thinking about that now. Thankfully, we got some more time to pass to ourselves in the past before we have to do that.
Let's pass to me and Ruby talking in the middle of the festival to see how things are bloody going. I'll do a little pass over to myself now, all right? Hopefully he's thankful for it. Hello, we're here with Ruby, event manager for Screams by the Sea. Welcome, hello.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm doing very well. How are you doing? Are you enjoying yourself so far?
I'm having a brilliant day. Everyone's been really excited. We've got some amazing films that we've seen already. We've got some amazing ones coming up. I'm just hyped.
She's incredibly hyped. I'm feeling incredibly hyped. The energy's infectious, I would say. But yeah, is there anything in particular today that is like your favorite of the films that you've seen so far? I know you've done a marketing talk as well. Was that the serious stuff, and the films are the fun stuff? But you like both sides of it, I guess.
I love both sides of it. Personally, I think marketing is great fun. I know people think it's very serious, but I think it's actually a very creative, exciting place to be. You can't ask me what my favourite film is, or like choosing your children, but they are all bloody fantastic. I think we're going to have some fantastic ones. I would really recommend checking out the short film showcase. Don't overlook that. There's absolutely spectacular titles in that one specifically.
Indeed. We haven't had a chance to see any of the shorts yet, so we are going to sit in for that screening. Looking forward to it. Exciting. Obviously, we've got the screenplay competition as well. Some lovely awards that we've seen.
Incredible awards. I'm really excited for the screenwriting competition. We've got some fantastic scripts, and I just want to hear them pitch. It's a really great opportunity, not just to potentially win the production deal, but also just to pitch your films in front of a huge group of people, get reactions, understand what people like, what they didn't like, and perhaps just make some connections as well. It's going to be really cool.
You got to make connections. Networking is very, very important. How is this year's festival so far compared to last year, would you say?
Bigger and better and more fabulous. But no, we've got more time this time. We've got a few more talks going. We have an industry hub this time. We had some talks last time, but this is more in depth. We've got some fantastic guests. We've got hot swap tables, which means people can book on for a little 15 minutes with an expert and squeeze all their brain juice out and understand everything they know if you ask the right questions. We've also got some fantastic tables. We've got the BCP Film Office. We've got the Dorset and Hampshire Film Office. We've got Neil, who is doing amazing poster designs. And later on, we're actually having a makeup application, some fantastic prosthetic stuff, which has been really exciting. I can't.
Oh yes. Well, we're gonna have to try and get some of that on film and maybe get an interview with that. So what kind of is like creature effects?
I'm not sure how much I'm allowed to give away, but there's going to be potentially barnacles all over someone's face.
Barnacles? Oh no.
Sounds uncomfortable, but it's going to look sick.
It's going to look sick. A person with barnacles on their face looks absolutely great. Looks so sick. I wanted to talk about your outfit as well, Ruby. Is that okay to do?
Absolutely. I'm not only repping the Screens of the Sea merch, but I feel like I'm repping the Horror Hangout green and pink colours.
Well, I was going to say, are we kind of clashing, but are we matching? Is that what we're doing? We're not clashing, we're matching.
We're going to say we're matching. I think it wasn't planned, but we should plan to do this every time we meet. I think we should always record.
Every time, I feel like. It's the only way. It's great. But yeah, we're having a great time. And what a lovely day for it as well. I know British people love talking about the weather, but oh my God.
We're super lucky. I think doing Screens of the Sea and the fact that just over there is a sunny beach right now. You can go and have your lunch on and put your feet in the big blue wet stuff. It'd be fabulous.
Because last year was like a little bit earlier, wasn't it? So it was probably a bit nippy. A little bit nippy. Whereas this time, delightful. We haven't gone in the sea yet, have you?
No, but I think we should all do it later. We should all just run in. Like
a celebration for the finale. Yeah. Everyone just...
Completely at half 10 or whatever it is we finish.
10:30.
Something like that. We're going in at 11 o'clock. I'm making it later. Why not? So I've got time to pack up afterwards. Otherwise, I'm going to be rushing out. But yeah, 11 o'clock in the sea. Screams in the sea instead.
Screams in the sea. I mean, it's going to be pretty cold. And, some people have sensitive areas. There may be screams in the sea.
Perfect. Let's date.
It's a date, and I personally can't wait. But thank you so much, Ruby.
Thanks.
It's been exciting, and thanks for me and Andy being involved as well. We're super excited for that. Radi's about to run into screen.
Are you dating my girlfriend? What's happening?
Yes. We're doing Screens in the sea. We're going out.
This is not my coverage.
Apologies. It's just natural charisma.
Uniqueness, nerve, and talent.
Exactly. We'll catch up. Well, we'll probably catch up with you again later when things are like ending, and we'll find out some more about how things have gone. But thank you very much for joining us, Ruby.
Thank you. See you soon.
Hello, I'm joined by Katie Bonham, the producer of a short horror film which is titled The Girl with the Haunted Vagina.
Indeed, that is correct.
Indeed. I don't know, I immediately went to you for a reaction there. I'm sure...
We get that a lot, don't worry.
I'm sure it's old news to you. This probably doesn't affect you as much, but most people, what is the reaction people get to that title?
It's quite wild. People actually usually think it's a porno, and we have to convince them they're not, and that it's not, sorry. But it's, intrigue is probably the best reaction. They want to know more, which is, it's a good title. It draws the audiences in.
It draws you in. It really does. It drew me in, and I've not even seen it yet. So we're going to see it in a second. What can we expect without giving too much away? I guess.
I mean, it's a story about female sexual empowerment. It's funny. It's very funny. And really, it's just kind of looking at the journey, kind of coming of age journey that this person's making as she's trying to find out if she can reach climax or not.
And she can't reach climax because of a pesky ghost.
Yeah. So every time she has a sexual encounter or tries to orgasm, basically the ghost of her childhood priest appears and is all damnation and hellfire. And basically it's her trying to navigate that and also kind of get some self-gratification. So
Ghost of a priest. I mean, I'm not judging that, but oh my god, of all the ghosts for it to be a bloody priest.
What a great story idea, right?
Yeah. A great story idea. How did you get involved with this project?
So originally my co-producer Ray was on board and it was funded through BFI Midlands. And they were looking for a co-producer to help them with the project. And then they asked me because they knew I'd produced some of my previous short films. I said yes. And now we work together all the time. I'm part of their company, which is Panad Productions. And we would never produce without each other now. So, yeah.
It's a marriage made in heaven, it seems like.
It absolutely.
A professional relationship. Any other films in the pipeline that perhaps have any other interesting titles, of course?
Not as interesting as that, but I'm desperately looking. No, we've got a feature at the moment called Beachbody, which is actually a comedy that we've got in development that we are co-producing on. I've got my debut feature, which is a horror. It's eco horror. There's no fun title. I mean, they're all fun titles, but it's not as sexy as that. And we're also, I'm directing a fringe show at Edinburgh Fringe this year, which is called #Hysteria, which Ray is also producing. And it's all about the journey through kind of history of sexual repression against females and how it's not like that anymore. So it's kind of a comedy through the ages. So, yeah.
Well, there we go. All the genres being covered. All the haunted genitalia you could shake a stick at, I guess. But we're looking forward to it. We will be reviewing it on the podcast as well. So, yeah, thank you very much for taking the time, Katie. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Ben, over in Bournemouth and the past. We're back in the studio, Ben. We're going to talk about the short films, which now, in the future, we've seen.
Yeah, we have seen them. Short film showcase. There were 5 short films in total, varying in length, of course, and I guess subgenre as well. We've kind of got like a ghost story, a kind of folk tale, I would say, a kind of horror comedy with some sexual connotations, a kind of coming of age story with a horror backdrop, and was it a Chinese or Japanese?
It's very J horror coded.
Very J horror coded, but
I don't know what language it was in.
It says here Mandarin, so I'm assuming that's Chinese, right?
Oh, you've got the inside track then, Ben. It must be Mandarin.
It won't be.
It must be.
Oh, it must be. Okay. Well,
yeah.
Apologies if I've got that terribly, terribly wrong. But we've got like a very J horror coded kind of underdog story, could you call it? With a character with very interesting hair. We'll get to that, of course. But are
we going to go through them in order?
Let's go through them in order, yeah. So we had number 1, which was Umbra. Now that is directed by Pablo Otero. Adriana, a 12-year-old girl, waits while her mother gives after her mother recovers after giving birth, but the night is long and the hospital holds many secrets and countless doors to open. I don't want to spoil this. Waits after her mother giving birth. I feel like there was maybe a tragedy. I don't know, or was it basically?
I think there's elements to a past tragedy that are referred to, and it's all set in just this one corridor. A lovely bit of facial acting in this one, I thought.
Yeah. The little girl in it who is played by someone called Adriana Camarina. Great acting. I would say stick a bloody light on in that hallway, because unless there's been a power cut, what you're doing in a hospital with all the lights off, listening to
power saving, that'll be their ESG programs, Ben. What they're doing there is
okay, got you.
if she was to wave about a bit in that corridor, that'll come back on.
Oh, right, okay, I see. And also, she's listening to a lovely recording of some horrible static, right?
So I go to sleep at night.
Is that how you go to sleep at night? Do you do that?
Yeah, it's how I stop just the Tetris music circling forever. I
Not columns?
no, not columns.
Not columns.
I mean, sometimes I'll have a columns as a treat, but just a little bit of. I've gone past the white noise now. It's the green noise that I listen to. It's basically like white noise, but sometimes there'll be a bird.
Oh, I see. So it's kind of like eco noise, maybe.
Yeah.
Jungle noise. We have a little bit of rain going on, which I feel like has ruined because I enjoy the sound of rain, and now when I hear actual real rain, I go, "Oh, that's all right," but it could be louder.
Yeah,
I want it right next to my head.
It could be slightly more uniform.
It could be slightly more uniform. I like that.
She doesn't listen to this though. She listens to static, almost like a white noise kind of thing, right? To try and listen to some voices from beyond.
Yeah, and listening to the static and listening to these voices beyond seems to bring forth some ghostly apparitions that have obviously passed away in the halls of said hospital. Yeah, and it seems like it's everyone, doesn't it? It seems like there's possibly a nurse, possibly a baby, and a load of other people as well. I feel like this one was probably the most atmospheric. This was the one that made me, I don't know if I was just anticipating a jump scare, but this was the one that made me kind of go, ooh, ooh.
I see he's leaning forward, locking in, getting ready,
seeing the silhouette,
bracing yourself.
Seeing a creepy silhouette walking towards you in any sense is always a bit creepy because I always worry about it speeding up and running towards the screen, which a lot of films do. Luckily, this one didn't, so maybe there was a slight bit of that towards the end. But overall,
it was really good, though. Really atmospheric, really good use of, using your limited budget on a short. Really, really effective use of light and shadow. Had like touches of lights out for it for me as well, where you just see something standing watching over you and it could come closer at any moment. I thought this was good.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. After that was a film called The Girl in Kelp, which was shot pretty much on Super 8, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was
very,
shot on
very
Super 8.
short. Right. Very short.
Very short. It was kind of like the coast. And they said it was shot in like California or something. I was like, English coast, 100%. Cornwall. It's called The Girl in Kelp as well. Do you know what I mean? I guess all of the
ain't
focus.
Got kelp over there.
They ain't got any kelp over there, have they? They don't deserve it. There were like these hand drawn kind of
like overlaid images, right?
Overlaid images that kind of represented the characters that were being discussed, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Just a nice, like a story that you'd imagine a wizened old person, man or woman, telling you over a fire.
Yeah, a wizened old woman. So yeah, basically like a story of somebody. I'm not really getting their comeuppance, but somebody asking for help from a mysterious figure, and then finding themselves screwed over by that
in a spot of bother.
In a spot of bloody bother. It felt very folk horror, didn't it? This did. So
yeah, it certainly did.
You can imagine like an expanded sort of tale set in and around this sort of coastal area. But again, I feel like this is probably a film that was made for next to nothing. It was probably like 5 minutes long, but it goes to show that no matter what the budget is, you can always get an interesting,
good spooky tale,
and an interesting narrative from it as well. So there we go. Number three is The Girl with the Haunted Vagina. And obviously we there was a little bit of a weird noise that came from somewhere in my house then when I said The Girl with the Haunted Vagina. Yeah, I don't know what it was. Was it a creak? Was it the pipes warming up? I don't know. So we spoke to one of the producers of The Girl with the Haunted Vagina just before this particular review. And I kind of had high hopes for it, merely based upon, number one, the title, as you can imagine. And number two, the star is a prolific figure in British comedy. You said you've seen her on Taskmaster. I don't think I actually have.
Yeah, I think she won her series of Taskmaster that she's on. Her name is Sophie Duker. Yes. She's won a lot of awards over at Edinburgh Fringe as well for some of her stand-up shows. Yes. Really, really funny person. Funny film. I enjoyed this.
Yeah, funny film. So there's a woman. She can't reach climax because every time she does, there's a ghostly figure of a priest standing over her, basically saying, "I bloody dare you, blasphemy, etc., etc." So yeah, I guess it's a story of female sexual empowerment and sort of taking back your sexual power, I guess,
Yep.
and weaponizing it against bloody men, whether men are real or men are ghostly figures with a lovely earring. I kind of thought, who's this bloody priest? Who does he think he is?
It's quite trendy, isn't
He
he?
looks like he's in bloody Human League or something. This guy.
Yeah. It's a good fun movie. And you know what, Ben? I'm gonna throw this out there. You know, this one would pair very well with.
The man with the haunted penis.
Although I mean, it could be a film. In a world of infinite possibilities, it might be. But this might pair very well with the film of a former guest of the show. It's Really You by good old Rich Rose. You could watch these back to back.
Yeah, you
Lovely
know what?
treat.
I know what you mean. Kind of taking horror tropes or like, things that everyone's familiar with and giving them a slightly different modern spin, modern dating, love spin, without kind of like skimping on either, I guess. Yeah, I can agree with
Yeah.
that. Why the devil not? So yeah, this one's directed by Samantha O'Rourke and Rachel Tookie as well. I see her name's there. I guess she's a director on this as well. I think when we were given the details, it only said Samantha's name. So yeah, I think I'd recommend this. It's another quintessentially British. There's a couple of big laughs in it. There was a particular laugh where main character's talking to a doctor, and he says something along the lines of, "There's a good chance that there's a lot of history of women just imagining things." Pretty
Yeah.
much. And then he has a laugh, which I'm assuming is in Sophie's Megan is the character's name. Sophie's mind. Megan's mind. Doing that thing again, confusing reality with fiction. And they have a laugh, and I'm assuming, yeah, it's good. I was kind of like I was definitely into it. I was definitely into the comedy side of it. I was kind of maybe thinking that there was actually a it's a silly thing to think, but is there a ghost in there or something? Is it living in there? Has it come out? All right, what's it going on? Like some
I
crazy,
don't have in front of me
crazy
if
body
this is
horror or something.
available or any of these for us to watch anywhere yet, but we will keep everybody posted. We'll look it up, and if there are links, we'll post them.
Yeah, absolutely. We sure will. Okay, and after that was a French short film called Transylvanie, which focused on a young girl, probably like about, what are we saying, 9 or 10, maybe?
Yeah, maybe 10,
Yeah,
maybe.
10. Oh, yeah, she's 10.
Oh,
Eva
nailed it.
is a 10-year-old girl convinced of being a vampire. When she's getting bullied by teenagers from the neighborhood for her belief, she's ready to act in the creepiest, sickest ways to prove her identity to the world. Great performance from the main character, Catel Varvat. Also, like the sort of teenage boy was a good character as well, because I
It
think
was nice, wasn't he?
initially you go, teenage boy smoking, hanging around with these lot, he's going to be a knobhead. But no, he was quite nice to her. And I guess it's a film that subverts your expectations, and it's very, very well made, very well put together. And I think I honestly really enjoy any kind of non-English speaking European vampire tale. I don't know why. Maybe it's because of the links to actual Transylvania, for example, but it just feels so legit. I feel like anything could happen in those worlds, and I'd be along for the ride. If it
You know
perhaps
me and
happened in the
French horror
UK,
cinema, Ben.
oh, you love a bit of French horror cinema, don't you? You're
You
all
know what it's
over it.
got, Ben? A certain je ne sais quoi.
A certain je ne sais quoi. Exactly. Why did you not do the interview with the French filmmaker Aurélia?
I
Andy?
haven't got round to seeing that one yet.
Oh no, you haven't, have you? No, I've been
Could have
keeping
done
you
it.
away
I could have done it in flawless French.
in flawless French. We won't spoil the end of this particular film, but I guess it takes you in directions of you kind of think one thing's going to happen and then something else does. So I think it was very well
Lots
done.
of surprises. Really, really fun.
Yeah, and like bully kids as well, like were suitably like annoying, where you wanted them to get their comeuppance. Stealing her bloody cape, that's rude, isn't it?
Yeah, and then using it as a goalpost.
Ah, that's disgraceful, isn't it? So yeah, and then finally to round off the short film showcase, we had a film called Tasty Tongue, which is a film set in like an office environment. We've got a character, Aze, who's so this is directed by Pearl Zhang as well. So he's constantly cursed by others, encounters a mysterious and beautiful woman, Mia, bringing some lovely spam fritters over for him to enjoy.
Have some
Could be
tongues, mate.
could be spam fritters, could be tongues, could be like big old jelly teeth that you get in the sweet shop. Let's describe this main character. Hair like a big old helmet, you would say.
A big
wouldn't you?
cycle helmet.
Yeah, little screwed up little face where he's just like, oh bloody hell, my mum's mollycoddled me my whole life, wrapped me up in cotton wool. She's ruined me social skills. Everyone
And he
makes
never
fun of
tidies
me.
his room.
He never tidied his room. Have some respect for yourself. Has he got a fridge in his room?
Yeah, because there's a load of tongues in it there, aren't
He
there?
got a load of blade tongues in there. Yeah, so there's a creep. Well, I guess she's not supposed to be creepy initially, but there's a mysterious woman who turns up. How'd you get in my house? I'd say.
You'd immediately, like, I'm not saying that I'm built different or anything, Ben. You would immediately go, "You're a ghost, aren't you?"
You're a bloody ghost. Yeah, you are.
If someone who looked completely normal just appeared at random and started
Oh,
giving you
God,
some
yeah.
tongues that they'd cooked, you'd be like,
Hell no.
"Well, you're a ghost."
You're a ghost. Taiwan. This film's from,
Taiwan, okay.
but it is in Chinese. Yeah, gives him these things that look like spam fritters. I have these lovely tongues. I'll sort you out. I guess it's a kind of coming of age thing because he gets like a little bit of a confidence and starts to like actually, I guess not physically fight back against
Kind of escalate, right? Again,
Kind
right.
of escalates,
Who else
yeah.
has annoyed you recently? Well,
Actually, this person, she gives him the weirdest pep talk ever as well. He's knelt down on the floor on the ground like all upset, and she leans down and goes, "You stink. No, you're fat, you're ugly, and you stink." And I don't know if she's saying it as if to say this is what other people are saying about you, or if she's actually telling him that. Because yeah, she is.
he's kind of being manipulated into cursing more people,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and I'm assuming what happens is he curses more people. He calls them motherfuckers, and she goes out and gets their tongues, cuts them out, and brings them back to him for him to eat like a hungry, hungry boy, hungry, growing boy he is. I don't know about you. I've never had a jar or something. What could you compare it to? Pickles, pickled eggs, and eaten them in such a craze as he has. Like,
Yeah. He goes at this jar of tongues like you or I might go at a tube of Rolos.
oh yeah, exactly. You and I might go at Tuber Rollos, or if this weekend's anything to go by, a sleeve of shortbread fingers.
A sleeve of shortbread fingers,
that
little box of Ritz crackers.
Or was that exclusively me? Oh yeah, you were.
I had one of them with my tea. in the
You
evening.
did. You had a lovely sweet cinnamon breakfast as well.
Yeah, this is an insight, everybody listening to our exclusive Airbnb life when we travel to events like this.
We did have some lovely
Going down the
food as
Tesco
well.
Express and trying to have a sensible breakfast so you don't eat out the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. But we did have some good food as well when we were down there, didn't we?
Did.
Okay, and that was it. That was the horror movie, the short film showcase, and it was quickly followed by the screenwriters screenplay competition.
Yeah.
Which we were asked very kindly by Radi Nikolov, and we obviously jumped at the chance to basically present the whole thing. So we had a little bit of a chat with the audiences. I guess it's our first time as podcasters, as the Horror Hangout fellas, doing something
Doing some live hosting, and that was fun, wasn't it?
It was fun, and I think we managed to recreate the vibe we kind of go for. It was a little bit nerve-wracking simply because it was a little bit of unknown territory for me, especially just standing up. We were mic'd up, we had spotlights on us, very, very strange. I'm assuming we'll be able to see some photos of that because I think someone was taking photos at the time. We decided against filming any of it though, simply because
it was one more thing to juggle,
one more thing to think about, and B, added pressure, and C, I'd probably cringe like a
you don't want to see that. And also,
probably cringe big time watching it back, but we had good feedback afterwards, which was nice.
yeah, people were very kind about it, so that was lovely. So that's why we're still here now, and we haven't given it all up, everyone.
No.
But if you want my advice for how to deal with these nerve-wracking situations, we talked about this actually beforehand, like all the things that people are actually afraid of. They talk about ghoulies and monsters. Actually, more people afraid of public speaking. But if you're listening out there and you've got some public speaking coming up, You'll get all the old Hackney stuff. You'll get the old, oh, just imagine them all naked. That's more distracting. Think about it this way.
You can't.
If you're standing up there in that room, all those people looking down at you, just remember this little thing. If a tiger were to come bursting into that room right now, you're the only one standing up, mate. You're getting out of there.
Yeah, see you
I
later.
feel sorry for all those other fuckers that sat in their seats.
Also,
Tigers
if everyone
eating
was
them.
naked, you'd really only be able to see the front row. Everybody else, you just see heads, wouldn't you?
Yeah, just blurry faces.
Just blurry faces. But yeah, we heard some pitches from 4 different writers, and we've got an interview with 2 of those writers, Mark Walker and Sam Carter, telling us all about their movies. And yeah, and I guess we will reveal a little bit later as well who actually won the award of Best Screenplay for this year.
Before we pass to those guys, I thought all the screenplays sounded interesting. In an ideal world
definitely.
where things could be conjured from thin air, I'd watch all of those.
All very different as well, you know, and all very unique. All have very unique sort of interesting.
Yeah, we have like kind of a story of survival and exploration. We have a slasher movie.
The story
we have
of survival and
movie.
exploration, which is sorry, Andy, but the one of exploration and survival sounded very much like, I think she even said The Serpent and the Rainbow. M. Koopman
Yeah.
said like, and that was what I was picturing as well during her pitch. But yeah, sorry, and as you said, a slasher and a ghost story,
And then like a psychological drama.
Exactly.
Yeah, lots of interesting pitches. We should try and get in touch with because we have interviews with the 2. We'll pass to shortly. I'd love to try and get in touch with the others that we haven't met, and the other one we've only seen as a big giant face on a screen.
As a big giant face on the screen, and I do feel bad about it, but in the moment, you know, I was already nervous, but I think I did refer to her as Zordon, and we were the Power Rangers, right?
Yeah, but you weren't saying that she was like Zordon. She was just projected like him.
That's right. That's what I did say. And
The similarities between them were limited to their medium of transmission. They had no.
That's true.
Yeah.
She wasn't lying somewhere else in a like crystal tube.
In a crystal tube, looking out for Ivan who's coming to electrocute her out of it.
Wearing a what? What does he wear? Like a grey smock.
Like a grey smock when Ivan who's rocks up.
Exactly.
She was nothing. Otherwise, she was absolutely nothing like David Yost as Zordon. Is that his name?
Maybe.
She was nothing like him.
I was going to say Games Master as well, but then I thought, oh, maybe people will be a bit too young for that. But then I thought Power Rangers isn't much of a more up-to-date reference, really, is it?
There was a film a few years ago, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was.
Oh, Ben, I need to say, you know, so we don't get tweets. David Yost, of course, is the actor that played the Blue Ranger. Nothing to do with the man that played Zordon.
Yeah, don't get tweets. Who's played Zordon then?
Let's find out.
Yeah, no, I put you on the spot.
Let's do this. Let's do this live, shall we?
Can you tell me who
David
Zordon...
Fielding?
Yeah, can you tell me who Zordon is in the recent movie from like what 2017? Do you know who it is?
I mean, I can't Twitter Google. Maybe you can.
Give me a famous bold actor. Not bold usually, but his most famous role is bold.
Mark Strong.
No, he is bold for real. I think. Is he?
Oh, it's bloody Malcolm in the Middle dad, isn't it?
It is. It's Bryan Cranston. It's
Bryan
Heisenberg
Cranston
himself.
is Zordon.
Yeah, exactly. David Fielding as Zordon. If you Google that, there's some fantastic behind-the-scenes pictures of him getting Zordified. It looks great. To be fair, perfect role for a bold man. I've never really thought of. I reckon I could do a good Zordon, man in a tube.
Should we? Are you suggesting that we remake Power Rangers?
Why not? Who do you want to be? You can be Goldar.
Better start learning karate.
You can be Goldar. You can be Lord Zed. All you got to do is.
Oh, I could do Lord Zed. Yeah,
be
Inside Out. Or with the magic of maybe I'll get the folks at Weta Workshops involved and I can Eddie Murphy and I can be Bulk and Skull.
Oh God, I'd love that. If you pull in a
like
massive,
massive
baguette out your bag.
Yeah.
But shall we pass to Ben and Andy in the past, talking to 2 of the writers who pitched their ideas at the screenplay competition, Mark Walker and Sam Carter.
Over to those guys now. Thank you.
Hello, I'm here with Mark Walker, the writer of a movie you just pitched to some judges in the auditorium for the movie Drive-In. How did that feel? How did that go? Did you enjoy that?
I did enjoy it, but yeah, nerve-wracking, to say the least. I've pitched before in a very controlled environment, holding a tarantula for a talent campus through the London Screenwriters Festival, and that was easier than this, I have to say.
Wait. Why were you holding a tarantula when you pitched this?
This is something that's through the London Screenwriters Festival. They run a sort of training course, a boot camp for writers called Talent Campus. And one of the trainings that they do is to pitch to people holding a tarantula. So the idea is if you can pitch holding a tarantula, you can pitch to anyone. But actually that's quite easy compared to industry professionals and a whole group of your peers. So
What you should have done is held an industry professional in your hand.
that could have, that could have ended up in jail. So that, that's I think that could have gone very wrong. But
yeah. But yeah, tell us a little bit about the movie Drive-In. Don't obviously do your whole pitch because we wouldn't expect you to do that. But tell us a little bit about that movie because I think it does sound great.
Yeah, it's a Drive-In. It's basically my version of a slasher. It's a group of teens, college students that go to a abandoned drive-in in America. They get trapped inside with the antagonist, the projectionist, who is dead, but is trying to make a comeback so he can finish a killing spree he started 70 years before. He likes killing teenagers, and I think the audience likes watching teenagers get killed. So it feels like the perfect blend.
Yeah, exactly, and a great tagline. Is that the official tagline you're going for? Because I think it works.
Was that the? It's not just tires getting slashed here tonight. It wasn't until about a week ago when I came up with it while I was practicing. So, but I think it will be now. We'll get that on the poster.
Absolutely. So we'll be finding out the winner of the competition fairly soon, later on this evening. Would you say you're feeling confident?
I would never say I'm confident. I think the pitch went well, and I'm happy with it. So I think that's as good as it can get.
I think it absolutely went well.
Yeah, it was brilliant. I enjoyed it, but there were 4 really good stories, 4 good pitches. So we'll just have to see what happens.
Absolutely. Potentially we'll catch up with you a little bit later once we've got the news, good news or bad news.
You might have to try and run far. If I haven't won, I'll just be running back to my hotel in tears. So,
in tears? No,
not at all. It doesn't matter either way. I know that sounds a bit of a cliche and a bit corny, but it's just been a great experience to come down. It's the first time I've been to a film festival, so there's a confession. So I've just had a brilliant day. Been great fun. So whatever happens, it's been a good day.
Wonderful. Well, it sounds like a great film. I'd love to see it. Absolutely. I know our audience would definitely like to see a film like that. And I feel like slashers of that ilk are kind of making a little bit of a comeback anyway. Nostalgic horror, new antagonist, new slasher. I think we're well overdue, like another iconic slasher. And, is it a UK set thing? Is that what you're thinking?
Well, I mean, it could be set. At a drive-in, traditionally, I was setting it, thinking about it in America, but I think actually as a contained location, it could probably be filmed anywhere with a little bit of inventiveness. Although I do know someone who said they could get me a drive-in if I needed one, so there's an interesting.
We can get you a drive-in if they need one. I mean, who is this person? Just like, well, I got a couple of drive-ins knocking about. Tell me one more thing about the projectionist, because this visual, because I was kind of trying to visualize when you were explaining the projectionist, and then at the end there in the Q&A you mentioned the projectionist glass is reflecting light, and that gave me a really good visual. So I guess can you tell me a little bit more about that? Is that something? Are the glasses going to be constantly illuminated? Is that the visual of the killer?
It's sort of something that's used just to suggest that he's on his way, that he's coming, so people see it in the rearview mirror in a car or reflected in a phone screen, something like that. In an earlier version of the screen, it was almost like the images were being projected from him, so his glasses were flickering like a projector. But when you're writing it, it kind of feels like that might be a little bit too expensive to do in screen. But it could always go back. If I win and they want me to do that, I'll do it. I'll do anything.
He will do anything. He'll hold a tarantula in his hand. He'll hold one tarantula in each hand. Well, you were telling me just now that inspired you to actually start keeping tarantulas.
Yeah. I just thought, hey, we can hold a tarantula and look after a tarantula, and then you can do anything in life. And they're very easy to look after.
And now, any high-pressure situation you're in, you've got easy access to tarantulas to aid you in that particular high-pressure situation.
Yep, and it keeps the kids out of the writing room.
It keeps the kids out of the right. Stay away. So, thank you, Mark. It's been a pleasure. Good luck. We will catch up with you at some point later. But congratulations again on your pitch.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Speak to you.
Hello again, everybody. I am now here with another one of the writers who we just saw pitch their film at the film pitching contest. Sam Carter, you were here to talk to us about Fear of Ghosts. How did that go?
I think it went okay. It was pretty horrifying, but it's over. I'm glad it's over. But I enjoyed it at the same time. And, it's the first time doing this, so could have gone worse. I could have completely bottled it and said nothing and just stood there like a lemon, and I didn't, so...
I can confirm you guys won't have seen this on video, but he did not do that. He did exceptionally well. A really good pitch and a really haunting sounding film. You said that you were inspired to make the film by your own fear of watching a friend play a game about ghosts. Right? Tell us a little bit more about that experience.
Well, I kind of find games to be way more scarier than films, maybe because I'm desensitized to films a little bit at this point, and I haven't really played that many games. So when I would try and play this game, I physically couldn't do it. So I would ask my friend to do it and just sort of watch him hiding behind his shoulder, like, can I swear?
Yes.
Like a little bitch.
Yeah. Oh, wonderful. And then yeah, we can do much worse. Go at least one letter further in the alphabet. You wrote the film, you pitched it here. How did the fear of the game compare to the fear of pitching it in front of judges in an auditorium of people?
I'd rather play the game than have to do that again.
That's it, though. I tell you what, people worried about ghosts all the time. Public speaking, where are the horror films about that?
Yeah, way scarier. Yeah.
So you had the pitch. You were able to cover the guys' questions. If the dream came true, and you found yourself the winner of this competition, what would it mean for you as a writer?
Well, I think it would be great to just have a film produced at more of a professional standard than what I've been doing, which would be nice. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, ideally, I would direct the thing, but I'm not sure I have enough clout for that yet. But
I mean, now you've conjured that, though. You say you make films yourself, you produce your own films. How do you approach that? I love a bit of independent filmmaking. How do you approach that today? Anything you can tell us about your previous projects?
Well, I guess I was sort of took a lot of inspiration from like the early starts of like Sam Raimi and Peter Jackson, and kind of figured if you're gonna make something with no money, you kind of need to make something a little bit silly. So I've been making a comedy horror film called Satanic Garage Management, which is extremely low budget, very DIY, very flawed, but it should be a lot of fun. But basically that's been like my my film school. I kind of missed the boat and didn't study film at college or university. And then when I sort of got to age 20 or 21, I just kind of realized, if I don't start making stuff, I'm probably never going to do it. So, yeah.
So you did the right thing. You got out there and you started making it. So I'm going to ask you, now that you're a veteran of this, you've been out there, you've done a pitch.
Yeah.
What would your advice be to anyone who sees one of these competitions come up and they're thinking about applying?
Just go for it. I mean, it's really, really scary, but you're going to be fine. You will hopefully live. Hopefully you're not going to have a heart attack and die on stage. That's sort of worst case scenario. Probably won't happen, minor chance, but yeah, just go for it and just put yourself out there and yeah, just keep doing it.
We'll confirm venues like this will have a first aid. There'll be an AED machine. You'll be fine even if you do have a heart attack. So I'll join Sam in saying, be brave, get stuck in and do this. All right. Thank you so much, Sam. We'll see you after the ceremony to see if we'll have a drink either way, but we'll hopefully be celebrating. Good luck.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, so the final film that we're going to discuss from Screams by the Sea is a movie called Time Travel is Dangerous, which is like a science fiction comedy adventure film. It is directed by Chris Redding. And it's in cinemas now, It's in cinemas right now. It was released on the 28th of March, Friday the 28th of March. I think only one screening of it has taken place before this, and the stars of it were then on their way to Dublin, Glasgow, and other places on a little tour of the opening weekend, which is exciting. So the story
This was fun, wasn't it?
super fun. Best friends Ruth and Mengin run a vintage shop in North London when they stumble across a time machine and embark on a trip to the past, borrowing items to sell in the present. They don't want to change history or rob banks. They just want to find a nice lamp without getting sucked into a hellish time-space vortex that is the Unreason. So it stars the main two actors are Mengin Stevenson and Ruth Syratt. They are actually real people who run this shop. They're not playing characters in this film. That is them. So that is very interesting. We have an interview.
This made me love the film all the more. I didn't know this until we met the guys. I just thought it was
Yeah.
a British sci-fi comedy.
Exactly. And then the cast
And then I found that
cast
these
is
guys
made
are real, just their lives.
Yeah, exactly. The cast is made up of other people like British comedy icons like Johnny Vegas, Jane Horrocks, Mark Heap, Sophie Thompson's in it as well. Stephen Fry is narrating. Who else have we got? What's his name from? Brian Bovell is like the older version of the scientist, and then the young
Brian
Guy Henry's in
Blessed
it as well.
does some voice work in there. Kyle Smith Bino's in there.
Yeah, and then Tom Lenk, of course, is the other person who we spoke to. I really, really enjoyed this. I thought this was great. This had the kind of like offbeat, ad-libbed comedy style that I really enjoy with stuff like Flight of the Conchords, where, you know, it's two quite unassuming, quite deadpan characters kind of being a bit silly and getting into classic japes and just being a bit mad. And, you know, to see this kind of adventure pan out and them being, I think they get referred to as two idiots at some point by some of the characters. It's like, yeah, probably, but at the same time, lovable idiots, you know?
Yeah, like completely harmless, just nice folks. And
Harmless, nice
the
folks.
revelation as we were doing this interview and meeting them, understanding that this is actually their lives and they really do run a shop. And
It's
just
called Cha Cha Cha.
Yeah, Cha Cha Cha, the shop, the charity, the vintage shop in North London.
Yeah, I can't say charity shop. They don't like that, especially in the.
No,
Actually, I think it might just be Cha Cha, you know? Now I'm looking. Or is it Cha Cha Cha? I'm confused now.
I thought it was Cha Cha Cha.
It is Cha Cha Cha. It's free Chaz.
You've said cha a lot now. It's beginning to lose all meaning.
Yeah. What is a Cha? What is a Cha? But yeah, tons of stuff. I mean, I've been looking at their sort of social media recently as well, and like they're all over the place. Like this is like a really thriving business as well. So obviously, for some reason, somebody thought they'd be great for a film, and I think it started out as a short, ended up becoming a feature, and yeah, there's some great effects in this as well, isn't there?
It's
Like,
so fun. I love the practical builds. I love the time travel, the time machine made of a big bumper car
Yeah.
with
there's
bits
like
on
a
it and
flying
science
a flying
things.
minibus at one point as well. Is that right?
Yeah.
Good old flying
Oh,
minibus, all like
and
that.
I mean, this isn't a spoiler for any elements of the film,
No.
but if you release a film, right, you do all that other stuff, and then you put Busted's Year 3000 over your closing credits, then you'll get a nice review from me. That's all I'm telling you. All right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm also low-key obsessed with the fact that these are real people. Having spent a few minutes talking to them, even after your interview that we'll cut to shortly, um, like just Ruth showing us like the outfits that these two dress up as every Halloween. Their Bill and Ted outfits are incredible. Their
Oh
Wayne
my
and
God,
Garth
yeah.
outfits are incredible.
I think they're just
Low-key
naturally
heroes, Ben. This could be us.
they're just gifted, funny people
Yeah.
with. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, sometimes you meet people like that, and you go like, it's mad that you two aren't like on TV or in a film or something like that, and this is like that coming like to life.
And
There's
now
even-
they are.
And there they are. And there's even a moment in the interview where Tom Lenk sort of says, you just want to be friends with these people. And I definitely came away feeling like that. And then even more so after interviewing them, where I was just
Yeah.
like, it was one of those interviews. I was like, oh, interviewing three people at once. That's always the one for me. I mean, you famously, when you interviewed outside Fright Fest with Jake West and Razorblade Smile and Aaron as well, and then somebody else, it was a good. That would, for me, that showed me how it's done. The old three, the old 3 versus 1, the old triple threat handicap
Yeah.
match.
It's hard work, but you did wonderfully, Ben, as the people here will see in just a moment. But it was such a fun interview, such fun people, and I think, as Tom put it, it is true. You come away like effortlessly charming. I don't know if it's effortless. Maybe they try really hard. They're very, very
Seems
charming
effortless, doesn't it?
people,
Yeah.
and the film, I think, really knowing that this is them and their real character as well, I think it endears me to the film even more, and I'm so. I hope this does really well. I think they mentioned it's on 100 screens around the UK right now.
Yeah.
If sort of if you are from the UK, you'll absolutely get it. You'll recognize loads of people in there. If you're overseas and you have any kind of taste for sort of contemporary sort of British comedy, you'll get on with this.
Oh, you'll more than get along with it, yeah. So yeah, shall we pass over to future past me? Time travel is dangerous. Time travel is
dangerous.
Confusing.
We're doing it right now.
We are doing it right now, yeah.
Tricky.
Very tricky. Let's pass over to me interviewing the stars of Time Travel is Dangerous.
Over to you, Ben.
Hello. I'm here with the stars of Time Travel is Dangerous. Mengin, Ruth, and Tom. Hello, everybody. How is everybody feeling?
Great, that was lovely. Yeah, no, it was good to watch it with another audience.
Another audience? So you've seen the film already with an audience?
They had the gala evening in London on Thursday evening, but held at the Muswell Hill Cinema. So the whole of Muswell Hill was there. So it was a different crowd, but it was a home crowd, a home game.
It was a home game, and I guess today was an away game, and was that a completely different experience?
It was, I think, different laughs. Yeah, people laugh at different bits. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of awkward because it's us, but it was, I felt like people enjoyed it, kind of. Tom laughed a lot.
Tom, you laughed a lot?
I've got a hearty laugh. I think also it's different because everyone in Muswell Hill knows that you are real people playing yourself. And so audiences don't know, like, I wish there was a little thing at the beginning that said Ruth and Mengin as themselves. So I think that, like, there's a whole other level once you know that as well. So.
Whole other meta level, because I didn't know that. I didn't know that you guys... Was that easier or more difficult playing yourselves, did you say?
Well, I've never played anyone else, so I don't really know. So I think it's quite easy being yourself. Yeah. And I think because it was always a small crew, we were quite relaxed. And we were in our hometown, so it was just like, just be yourself.
Yeah, you find it easy as well, Mengin?
That's all I can do. That's all I can play is me.
Yeah, you wouldn't try another role at all?
I'm terrible at accents.
Damn it. No, they are amazing. And the thing is, all of us actors were quite resentful of them because they're able to deliver lines in such a subtle, believable, yet hilarious way. And it's just, a lot of us have paid a lot of money to go to school to learn how to do that. And it's annoying that they just know how to do it and they're great at it. So we're resentful and we're bitter and we want our drama school money back.
That's fair enough, isn't it? So it was out in cinemas, came out in cinemas yesterday, isn't it? So is it a wide release? Can plenty of people see it?
It's if you go into Google and put it in Google and then say where the nearest cinema is, because obviously it's not in every cinema, but it's across the country.
But it should be in every cinema, right?
Ideally.
Yes.
Well, it's in 100 cinemas in the UK and Ireland, which is very rare for a small independent movie. And we, do you want to see Snow White or do you want to see this? And I say, you want to see this. So we are really dependent on word of mouth and people getting out there.
No budget for advertising.
Yeah. And so, like, this
is it. This is the budget.
If it does well this week, then more people will be able to see it.
What was it like working alongside some iconic British comedians as well? Was there anyone particularly that you were kind of like starstruck by, or was it all kind of like pretty cool?
I think Johnny was just so funny, and it was hard because there was a couple of scenes where I had to be sad in front of him, and he just kept making me laugh. But I know, but the whole time I just felt like some sort of competition winner that we got to be in this film with like actual actors. But I think after having 20 years of having an actual shop and serving people and putting on a face for customers, we did have
we've got our faces. We've got our faces.
Yeah. So
it is very, very funny. Obviously, I don't want to spoil anything, but how accurate was the teenage depiction of you, Ruth?
Very. Yeah, I know. I don't think I was that obnoxious, but I think I would like to be that age again. Definitely.
It's her niece that was playing her.
My niece. It was my niece.
Actual niece.
Oh, wow. That's cool. If there was a time period and an object you could go back in time and get your hands on, what would it be and why?
Well, I went down a coin wormhole, and there's a very specific coin out there that there's only one left, but it's worth like something like £10 million. So I'd probably want to go get that because it's practical, you know. But I mean, it would be nice to meet Jesus as well.
Lovely.
I think he's a cool dude.
Also, we could go to Woodstock, which I was thinking would be amazing.
Yeah, well, although I'm not really a festival person.
Toilet situation.
Yeah, toilet. Yeah.
That's true. Do you have an answer for that, Tom?
I was thinking like some authentic mid-century modern furniture, like expensive Danish stuff, and then maybe a Mozart piano or like an original, like the very first harpsichord that Bach was playing. If you played a harpsichord, I don't know, stuff like that.
Maybe I'm going back to a Habitat when it opened in the 70s. Habitat, which is now dead.
The shop?
Yeah. It was a trailblazer for like homeware in the, I think it was the 60s or the 70s. And even the catalogs, vintage Habitat catalogs, are worth a fortune now.
That's an interesting answer. Is that like, that's going back to Woolworths maybe?
Yeah.
Sad since that's gone.
Yeah.
I was thinking pick and mix.
Somebody needs to bring back pick and
I
mix.
used to steal pick and mix. Only a handful, not like.
That's why it was closed. That's why it was closed. All the kids were nicking chocolate shrimps.
A few little shrimps, exactly. Was a lot of the dialogue ad-libbed? Because it feels like it was.
Yes, it was. Yes. There was a lot of footage and a lot of editing.
Yeah, so was there a lot of stuff on the cutting room floor? Is there anything on the cutting room floor that you were sad that didn't make it to the cut of the film?
There was a bit where we were trying out Cadbury's cream eggs to see if they got smaller. We did a few bits like that, but in the end, a lot had to go because it wasn't part of the story. But you know,
I feel upset about that. I feel like I would want to know. I mean, how do what?
They have got smaller.
They have got smaller. How? I mean,
confirm.
By affirmative.
Yeah.
Bloody hell. How do you eat yours then, Ruth?
I actually don't like them. They're too sweet.
They are weird, aren't they? Do you like a cream egg?
I'm very anti-sugar.
Oh, really? Cream egg? A cream egg? Can you explain a cream egg to Tom?
I have the Cadbury cream egg. As a former spokesperson for Cadbury, I did a big commercial for them back in the day. Miniature Heroes. I do enjoy the full range of Cadbury product, except for the cream egg. Because I mean, eggs are
too sickly.
Eggs are creepy anyway. I will eat them, but I have to like not think about them being eggs. And the cream egg, it's not us. I don't know. It's the texture. The texture's off for me.
I understand.
Do you
Yeah,
have the
that's a weird one.
Do they have at Easter time? Do they have the bunny, the Cadbury bunny, and then he goes, he barks like a chicken, and then he lays the Cadbury chocolate egg?
It's like a fever dream. What is this? What's going on?
It's literally this is nightmare fuel from our childhoods in America. And I don't understand because Cadbury is way more huge over here than it is in America. And how can we have the large bunny that acts like a chicken and lays a chocolate egg, which is also weird that's chocolate egg coming up. So maybe Google that. But again, love Cadbury and the time I spent. Shout out, send me some chocolate. I do love, what's the one that's the honeycomb inside? Crunchy, that's my favorite.
Classic.
Can we talk about Time Travel is Dangerous merchandise? You're all wearing lovely hoodies and bum bags / fanny packs. We'll call them fanny packs as well.
They do. He's calling them fanny packs all the time. Makes me laugh.
It does. It's confusing, isn't it?
But actually, it is more of a fanny pack than a bum bag.
For you.
Oh, thank you. Oh, yes, with the Dodgem on as well. That's beautiful. No expense spared.
Well, quite a lot of expense.
Seating and makeup for us in here and a wardrobe. We did a lot of wardrobe ourselves. No, but it was fun. It was really fun. It was a long project, but it's nice
sitting in there today was the first time I've seen it in with an audience we didn't know, and it felt really nice hearing people laugh. So I just hope we'd like it.
That's good. I'm glad to hear it. It is a really funny film. It's a really heartfelt, lovely film as well. I enjoyed it. It was great. It was great. It really did.
I would say watch it again because it gets better the second time. Because there's actually a lot of information, and on the surface it appears silly and shallow, but there's actually more depth to it and more jokes and details that you pick up on the second viewing. That was my experience.
I see. And it's definitely not a charity shop.
No, but to some people they might see it that way, but they have no taste or understanding of what's valuable.
Shots fired.
No. Be sure to shop online at the Cha 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 vintage shop. Oh, we should. Yeah, it's an actual real shop, so you can
You
get
buy stuff from us.
Yeah.
Buy online.
What? I guess there is a real shop. It does make me also want to say, how the hell did this happen? How did this come about? I should have started there.
Pretty much through the shop.
Yeah, we had a lot of props, and we used to do production like art department, and we met the director, and he said, "Do you fancy doing a short?" So we did the 48-hour sci-fi challenge, and me and Chris wrote the little short together, and then we did it, and then people were like, "This is funny. Why don't you make it into a feature?" And then
8 years later, it's a feature.
Oh, 8 years.
8 years it took. So we genuinely aged over that 8-year period. It was not makeup. It was all real.
The first there's a section of the movie that was part of the original short film that they actually sent to the actors when they were, seeing if we were interested in doing the movie. And when I watched that, I was like, I don't care what happens with the movie. I just want to be friends with these.
Well, congratulations to you all on the film. Super fun times. Looking forward. Do you know whether will it be distributed soon online potentially for people who can't catch it in the cinema?
I do, but after it's done at cinema release. You might know online about that.
I think the producers were saying yesterday they're currently negotiating that to see when. I think this in a couple months would be the goal for the online release, at least in the US.
Yeah, hey, thank you all so much for taking the time to speak to us. It's been a pleasure. And again, congratulations on Time Travelers.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Wow, there we go.
There you go.
Off the back of that, I will ask you, Andy, how do you eat your cream egg?
Whole like a snake in the even in the foil, and then like a snake eating an egg, I'll unwrap it in my stomach and then spit out the shell, aka the foil.
So essentially, you're the anaconda in this situation, and the egg is John Voight.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting slurped into the body, still comes out alive.
That's what I call
cream
them.
egg.
What's this? Easter bunnies left me a 6-pack of Voights. I'll get down those.
6-pack of bloody Voights, yes, to get them done. I'm not really a fan of a cream egg. I do like a caramel egg. I feel like the fondant that's in a cream egg, it doesn't quite feel like something you should be consuming in like that amount of it. It feels like something that should be like on something or like in a little chocolate. I don't know. A whole egg's worth of it feels like too much. It's just like it's eating pure pure sugar straight from the source. Caramel, on the other fact, which is like pure sugar,
is pure sugar that's just made hot and stirred a bit.
But it's amazing in bigger amounts, isn't it? Like as we also discussed a lovely caramel core in some ice cream. That's my go-to. That's my pure filth. That is.
But I don't know, with this far into this one, you can't mention the fact you haven't mentioned the giant jammy dodger you encountered.
Yeah, we did see this in a shop. We saw what was marketed as a giant jammy dodger. I would say maybe even not twice the size of a jammy dodger.
You've come down on this. You said it's only twice the size. Pointing out that if a man twice the size as you walked in, you would describe him as a giant.
Yeah,
a 12-foot man.
But imagine a biscuit and then a biscuit double the size. It's not giant, is it?
The giant biscuit.
Well, it's not giant. There was a time. I think I followed someone on Instagram or someone who used to make massive biscuits, like literally massive biscuits, like the size of a bloody
Eston Blumenthal.
Not Eston Blumenthal. Getting another mention already. Wait, is that what you mentioned? A massive bourbon biscuit, like the size of a A4 piece of paper. That's big, isn't it?
That's really big.
That's really big. Now imagine a bourbon biscuit twice the size. In ridiculously crap. not into it. But yeah, there we go. So let's talk about what we're going to choose as our favorite feature and our favorite short of this particular event, and let's discuss who won the
What won
screenplay
the awards for
competition.
the votes as
They
well,
did
right?
they did a little drum roll for that. So can you hear that as a drum roll? Does that sound?
No, it's completely silent.
It's
The
completely
editing is
silent. I love a silent drum roll. What about this? This sounds like I'm touching myself.
yeah, and it edit the sound out as well, so now it just looks weird. Like you're silently vibrating, like the Flash trying to escape from ropes.
Why is Zoom so good at hiding residual noise? But the winner was, and it was someone we spoke to, it was Mr. Mark Walker with his pitch for Drive-In, which of course sounds great. And he seems to be very happy with that. Seems to be. Of course he is. He's very happy. I did see his blog recently as well, just one day after the event, where he was sort of explaining how it happened. And he did give us a shout out as well, because obviously we interviewed him.
Thanks,
Sounds
Mark.
great. Lovely guy. I think we're going to get him on the show as well. And, you know, everybody had great pitches and everybody did a great job at delivering those pitches, but it's a worthy winner.
Yeah. I would have been happy. I'd have been celebrating equally whoever had won, but personal taste, Ben. You know I love a slasher movie. Come on.
You love a slasher movie and, you know, having a lovely, not the only thing, what was it about slashing tires? Tires aren't the only things getting slashed. Good.
Yeah,
I like
good
it.
stuff.
Good stuff. Okay, let's pick a favorite short and a favorite feature. Would you like to go first, Andy?
Can I just establish a rule with you first, Ben? Are you
Yes.
allowed to pick a film that we've had another event? Because we should also highlight that they did show Strange Darling as their last film of the night, but we talked about that extensively at Fright Fest, so we're not talking about it here.
Yeah, I don't think we should pick Strange Darling. So Strange Darling closed the event. We did cover that at Fright Fest last year. So obviously a great film. We enjoyed it. It made our top horrors of the year last year as well. But yeah, probably not that one, just because it feels a bit like unfair. What was your favorite short film?
I think I am going to give my favorite short film to, you know, me and that and French cinema, Ben.
Is she on bloody French cinema all over again?
I'm gonna go with the. How do you say? Is it It's not vampire. It's something. The end is different, right?
Transylvanie.
Transylvanie. That's it. Transylvanie is what I'm going to pick as my favorite short film.
I think
there wasn't any I didn't enjoy, but that just edged it for me.
I think I like them all, but for me, Transylvania was probably the one that was the most effective. You know, it had laughs, it had heart, and it had a horror twist to it as well. So yeah, I think that's probably my favorite. But the short film that was picked by the audiences was Transylvania as well.
Oh, unanimous.
The audience were all over that one as well. We were in good company. But again, yeah, they were all very, very good. I think it was a very high quality. You know, sometimes you watch short film showcases and there can be a few moments in the short film showcase where perhaps you're, you know, thinking, I hope the next one's better. With this, yeah, they were all good and
solid throughout. And as Radi revealed at the event, the filmmakers are being contacted from all of the short film selections from Screams by the Sea, and because they all themed them, they're all sort of around a theme that would fit nicely together.
Yeah,
they're going to make them into an anthology film.
Exactly, and they're doing it with the first lot as well. Did they say that as well?
Yeah, previous years entries as well, right? So there are 2 Screams by the Sea anthology movies on their way to you.
Yeah,
we'll of course share when they're ready.
How exciting! Wonderful. So, favorite feature as well, Andy.
Favorite feature. We established the rules that anything we discussed at our previous event, we won't make eligible for this. Make these fresh viewings.
Yes.
I'm going to go just because I was so charmed by the delivery, the team. I'm going to go for Time Travel is Dangerous. You know, it's going to be my pick.
Me too, Andy. I don't want to copy you, but you know, I'm going to copy you. I'm not copying you. I'm just agreeing with you.
Official Horror Hangout selection from Screams by the Sea.
Horror Hangout selection. Time Travel is Dangerous. Just because I think for me, of course, it's not. I mean, I guess there are some parts of it you could consider horror. You know, the the changing the very fabric of time is horrific in itself, and I just think it was delivered so well. I loved meeting the cast, and it's an incredible story to think that they're real people who have just been plucked out of this shop and put in a feature film. It's a great story. It's exciting. It's British, and again, I like that quirky, offbeat British humor that kind of it just works for me. That kind of ad lib sort of stuff, and it hit home. And then to have people like Johnny Vegas and Mark Keep, for example, also in it, and Jane Horrocks as well, also in it. It just makes you feel all warm and fuzzy, doesn't it?
Yeah, just a very deeply enjoyable film, and I was not expecting it at all. Like, we run a horror podcast, and there are things that lean a lot more into horror here, but it's just such a charming movie. I cannot overlook it.
Such a charming movie, yes, indeed. That's it, isn't it? There we go. That's the picks. The short film pick.
Yeah, we do.
Feature film pick.
We need to just remember the audience pick for the festival.
The audience pick for the festival, yes, thank you for getting me back on track. The audience pick for the festival was Suicide for Beginners, and the director, Craig Thieman, was there to pick up the award as well, so that was great, having the winner of the award to be there. I think that was very, very special, and I think genuinely very unexpected for him.
Yeah, he seemed so surprised, and he was really, really humble, saying what a wonderful lineup he'd been there with. So well deserved. Again, I enjoyed everything that I watched while we were there.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a hugely successful event, and obviously, thank you very much to Radi, thank you to Ruby, and thank you to the rest of the Screams by the Sea team, not just for having us along on official media duties, but also making us feel super welcome and offering us loads of support while we were there. It felt like a real family environment that we were sort of allowed into and became part of as well, I guess.
Yeah, that was really fun, and just really, really enjoyable, and all the staff at the venue as well, so nice.
Yeah, everyone was lovely. Honestly, everyone was lovely. It was one of those. It was 100% one of those events, and not just at the event, but after the event, we went for a drink as well. We were chatting to loads of people and people that perhaps had been at the event and hadn't had a chance to speak to us. And it's great. It makes everything worthwhile as well, doesn't it? When people seem to have great things to say about what we do, because it's so much fun, and it's got to the point where it's become like second nature doing stuff like this. So I definitely want to do more live events.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this one. Another great example, another lovely weekend, a nice opportunity for you and I to spend some quality time together as well.
Oh, yeah.
We lovely sing-song in the car, didn't we, having a drive?
Well, we had a bit of a drive to do as well, so yeah, no, it was good because we're opposite ends of the British Isles, so it's nice to hang out occasionally, isn't it?
It is.
I was gonna wrap things up by talking about the April lineup, because it is officially out there now. If this episode's out there, then of course the April lineup's out there as well. We've got a few new releases and a couple of classics as well, maybe one other classic. So obviously this week's episode, Screams by the Sea, and next week we're talking about Critters with special returning guest Ed Harvey. And then it's a 5-weeker, isn't it? 5-weeker April.
It is.
Then we've got Aviana Snow joining us for Judy and Punch. You know what? Punch has been mentioned on this show more than once. We've covered the film Punch, Andy Edwards'
Misogyny Zone.
We've also mentioned Misogyny Zone Punch in many instances. I think we've compared the story of those two characters to various other films. So finally tackling a film that actually shines some light on that story in a very serious way. Then we've got Sinners, the new Michael B. Jordan movie, Ryan Coogler movie. Not 100% confirmed on guests yet. We're waiting for a confirmation, not a combination. Well, maybe a combination of us and them.
Combination of confirmations.
But then again, if it's out there now, hopefully guest confirmation should be out there as well. So go and check that out. And then finally, final week of the month, we've got Ash Millman joining us for Until Dawn. Obviously a game, an adaptation of a video game, and of course Ash Millman has a lot of experience with horror video games. It's what she does. It's what she does now. She streams the old horror video games all the time.
Yeah.
So
we have to get a pro in, and it's just very convenient and wonderful when the expert speaker you can get in on this topic happens to be someone who is funny and is nice, and we like them.
It sure is.
Good
absolutely, 100%.
I got a bit of travel in April, so I'm going to be mostly here if I can manage to dial in from wherever I am around the world. But if I don't make it for any of these ones, just you should all know that I still love you all very much, and I will maybe send Ben my thoughts so I can appear a bit like this and
We've
just
got
tell
it
you what my
covered
little
anyway,
review
haven't
is.
we've got it covered. But thank you,
Yeah.
and again, thanks for everybody's continued support. It allows us to get to events like this and be able to take part. And as we've said before with our Fright Fest episodes, if you like what you see, please consider giving us a rating and review, supporting us on Patreon, doing something like that to allow us to get to more of these events and
be here week after week with the content you all enjoy. And on that note, Ben, I'll have to say, speaking of things that you hear week to week, the
Oh yeah,
content
you
people
can't
have come
leave
to
us
rely
hanging
on.
about this.
I can't leave you hanging. Even in the case of a special episode, Ben, I would not leave the people without their prime, if not only, source in the world of podcasting for a weekly recap of what's been happening in the hot new series Friday the 13th, the television
Can
series.
I also
This
mention
time,
you really sold this show to
several people at the event,
didn't you?
I reckon the viewership's going up. This is
Yeah, I
going to
hope
get
so.
recommissioned.
I hope so.
When all of a sudden Jordan Peele's bringing this back and saying, I'm bringing back this amazing series.
Yeah.
If I don't get an executive producer credit, I'm going to be raging. So, episode 10, Tales of the Undead. So far in our series, no old man Jack in this one. He's away this week, so Ryan and Mickey have to go solo. And they've faced, you think they've faced it all, right? Bearing in mind that in last week's episode, they dealt with a cursed mulcher. Where do you go from there?
Not a bloody
And I'll
cursed
tell you where you
mulcher.
go from that, Ben. You go to a comic book.
Yeah.
A comic book that, when is held to the chest of someone who possesses it, they become an undefeatable, invincible Iron Man-like figure where you can choke to death a comic book store owner. You can absolutely thump to death the like collaborators that have stolen your work from you if you're a disgruntled artist from
Yeah.
the past, who's, to be honest, more relevant in 2025 than it was than it was back in 1987. An artist who has created an iconic character who's been stitched up by those cold-hearted, the real villains, the businessmen in their suits and ties, and he's taken his revenge by turning into this character. But it escapes the attention of our heroes at first because their fusty old uncle put it in the inventory as magazine, not comic.
Oh, fuddy duddy. You reading those special magazines with all the pictures in again? When do you grow up?
Picture books, yeah, exactly. But they do come to terms with it. They find some unreleased art that shows the weakness of the character that allows them to ultimately save the day. What I really loved about this episode is occasionally, whenever there is an action scene or a murder scene, it cuts to comic panels.
Oh yeah, nice, classic.
I'm not necessarily going to say they took the highest contemporary artists available at the time.
Yeah.
Very much like storyboards that have been colored in on Microsoft Paint.
Nice.
But it's another fun episode and another delightful time, another wonderful entry into the annals of history that is Friday the 13th, the TV series.
Glad you're keeping me and all the listeners up to speed on this.
Yeah.
I won't want to miss
And
one
absolutely,
week.
Ben, this of course confirms that even if I'm unable to join you live next week, I will send you a little video clip of me
please
talking to camera
Please
about
do that.
episode 11.
I can't wait. I cannot wait. There we go then. That's it. That's Screams by the Sea 2025. But maybe see you next year at Screams by the Sea 2026. It was a huge success in Bournemouth. So again, congratulations to the team. And again, thank you for having us along for the ride. Thanks again for listening. If you enjoyed the show, become a Patreon at patreon.com/horror hangout. Thanks to Taj Easton for our theme music. Thanks to Acast and Rusty Quill for hosting the show. Please consider giving us a rating or review. And we're on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Threads. Go to horrorhangout.co.uk to find it all in one place. And hopefully we'll have some more content from Screens by the Sea, photos and various other things to share over the next few days. So keep an eye out on our socials there to check out alongside this video, see some behind the scenes stuff as well. And next week, as I mentioned, it's Critters with returning guest Ed Harvey. So looking forward to that one.
Yeah. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. It's been a pleasure. See you later.
Together, bye.